The following live stream has been approved for restricted audiences only. It will definitely contain strong language and maybe some adult themes. Almost certainly. Viewer inebriation is advised.
Good evening, happy Friday, and welcome to Last Call, where tonight I did not pre-record a monologue. So, I don't even know if you can hear me right now, but doesn't matter. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. You can know what we're talking about tonight because you can see it on the screen. We're remembering the films of 1999. Yes, we're going to party like it's 1999, but I feel old because we're celebrating 25 years of these movies. Oh, I'm going to need this drink, so settle in. Get comfortable, top off your glasses, tell me what you're sipping on in the chat, and tell me what your favorite film of 1999 is. We'll get this, well, the Canarble Wagon's rolling already, isn't it?
Last Call is streamed before a live audience.
So, I have no idea if you were able to hear my monologue or not. You say yes? Okay, great. Yeah. That's how professional this is. I'm just making it up as we go. That would have been much better for a Friday Night Free-for-All, but what the hey. Let me start by, let's get some people in here because I think I need my designated driver right friggin' away. And he's also our subject matter expert for the night. Aged Boomer, how are you doing, my friend, and what are you sipping on?
I'm doing fine. I got myself a Coke here. How you doing?
Like a regular,
Regular
Coca-Cola Coke?
Yes, they had those in 1999. By the way, I was looking at your thumbnail, and I'm upset if you want to know, because I'm looking at your thumbnail, I'm like, okay, let's look at all the movies on his thumbnail. And I'm like, yeah, got that. Oh, crap, I missed that one. So now I'm adding it to the second slide reel.
Okay, full disclosure.
Yes.
This is what a rinky-dink outfit I run here. What was it? There was, I had World Is Not Enough, or something.
Yeah, I almost forgot that one last night.
I had Phantom Menace. And what was the other one that I had? The one that was...
Mummy.
And The Mummy. Those are the three I made sure to put in there.
Yes.
The rest of that, I just swiped it off of Google. Films of 1999.
No, I am going to say this. You have Magnolia on there. And while technically it had a limited release in 1999 at the end, it really was a 2000 release. I'm not counting that one. All right, So we're not doing Magnolia.
Okay,
but we got a lot of other stuff to cover. Now we have 67 movies, so we got a lot to get through tonight, huh?
And speaking of what I'm going to be getting through, in honor of 1999, I went and I looked at the drinks that were popular in the late 90s and whatnot, and I saw that there was one that, and this shouldn't be surprising to me, somebody in one of the chats, I'm not sure if it was JPRPH1 or maybe it was Curtis Selby, I can't remember for sure. But somebody recommended Sex on the Beach. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know if it was the most popular one specifically in 99, but it was popular in the late 90s. So
Where'd you get all that sand in your knickers?
Sand, it's coarse, it gets everywhere. Knickers, hell, gets into your nethers. You don't want that. But Netter and I are having sex on a beach. This is the ornery fan stream. So anyway, and speaking of Netter, let's get her in here. I just told everybody what you're sipping on, but how you doing tonight, sweetie?
I'm actually doing pretty well. I'm gearing up for
a busy weekend.
Well, yeah, we do a very busy weekend, and going about halfway into next week. But so not next week, but the week after, I have to take this week-long class with my company on a subject I really don't have any interest in, but the company wants us all to experience what it's like as the end user so that we know what our customers go through when they are going through the same course. And of course, when they're doing the orientation today, saying, okay, you're going to go here, you're going to get this, I had none of it. They had to set me up with the stuff because I didn't have it. Fortunately, one other girl also didn't have it, so I didn't feel so bad of being the lost kid. But it's like, yeah, it's going to be an intense 4-day class. And, yeah, it's like, I don't know if there's any, like, IT type people out there, but it's called Building Organizational Capabilities, so BOC. So if you've ever taken that before, you know what I'm going through.
Well, there you go. Yeah, and I obviously am having a bit of a crazy week myself because, man, not even ready for my own stream. What's wrong with me? Although you will notice that I have a bunch of the future streams already up, so that's part of why I was so busy.
You didn't ask what's on my Coke can.
Dylan Mulvaney? No.
No. Daredevil.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if they're doing
go.
a special Marvel tie-in, but they have Daredevil on the Coke cans. Maybe Hulk is on the Sprite cans. I don't know. It's like
could be. Oh, speaking of, you may have noticed this over my shoulder. Something I was very excited about. Ordered it on May the 4th. It immediately went out of stock within hours. This is the Amazing Spider-Man custom Mego action figure from World's Greatest Superheroes.
Whoa!
This is the Spider-Man in the style of Nicholas Hammond. You will notice.
Look at that.
Yeah. And
that's pretty cool, actually. Is that a Lou Ferrigno Hulk on the back?
It is. That is. And you know I did my own, so I've already got that.
But is that the Captain America? From the
yes,
TV?
That's the Captain America. Let me see how I can get in there without it being too blurry. Maybe. We'll see. Don't look at my face.
You just need the
focus
80s
on the box.
Hulk.
Well, okay, I can't get it to focus. But yeah, it's that clear shield, you know, the plexiglass shield.
That's plasticsteel, right?
So the way World's Greatest Superheroes works is you go and they've got custom figures that are available, custom figures that have been retired, and custom figures like in planning. That Spider-Man figure has been up as on planning or coming soon or whatever for over 2 years. And no way to know when it's going to become available. I just keep going every week or so. I go and I check and I check and I check. And sure enough, about a month ago, it showed up in the, available. But it said available 12 o'clock noon Eastern time on May the 4th. So I set my alarm, I set everything, I had actually even forgot that I had the Alexa Dot, so I'm sitting there refreshing my screen, waiting for it to go, and then all of a sudden she comes on and says, here is a reminder to order, Spider-Man from World's Greatest Superheroes. I'm like, thank you.
Oh, you probably don't know this.
What?
It didn't just
It was
go
in
down here.
all the rooms,
Yeah.
yes.
So all 4 of our Echo Dots were going, Troy,
Yes.
here's your reminder.
Yeah.
Order Spider-Man.
I realized that because I set it for every room because I was like, I can't miss this. And sure enough, like I said, by the end of the day, it was sold out. So I've got my Nicholas Hammond Spider-Man. I got my Lou Ferrigno Hulk. I am working on my Bill Bixby, David Banner. If and when he ever puts up the Captain America, I'll get the Captain America from him as well. And I'm thinking about doing a couple other customs. I might do the Thor from the Return of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
And which actually wouldn't be that difficult to do. And what might be far more difficult is to do the what's it called? Doctor Strange.
Oh, right.
That Doctor, which by the way we will be doing a watch party of on Netters Network on an upcoming Saturday. So anyway, I'm sorry, chat. Let me. I haven't forgotten about you. I was just doing a little geeking out, and now I'm going to say hi to all of you, my friends. Starting with the first person who was here, Connie Cleary. Hail the chat. Welcome, welcome. And of course, we got PJ of Orville Nation. Welcome, welcome. I have no idea what this is, but I see finger red number 1, finger red number 1, finger red number 1, finger red number 1, finger red number 1. That's actually funnier than whatever that emoji might actually be. I love you too, Netter. Greetings and felicitations, Mr. Londell's Groovy Movies. Pooty, welcome. We're going to be talking about all of them. Yes, every single one. No, like I said, I want to keep my options open. We could talk about some or all or whatever. The 2000 Oscar Awards, Kevin Spacey. The 2000 Oscars Award, Kevin Spacey, a guy having a midlife crisis and being a pedo. Michael Caine, a guy that ends human life. Hilary Swank, a woman that pretends to be a guy. And Angela Jolie, a mental patient. That pretty much sums it up. That is 1999. He's not wrong.
Is that Geely? Talking about?
Yeah, it might have been Geely. I don't remember which one that was.
It's not on the list. I'm sorry.
No. Geely wasn't. That was Gia.
Gia, not Geely. Geely was
yeah, I've watched Gia. Well, I've watched scenes from Gia repeatedly.
I've seen
slow-mo, fast forward, rewind. Good evening, D. Myers Jr.
Anyway, what was I going to say?
Who was the blonde in that? Wasn't she the one that was in Lost? She was also Mrs. Claus with Tim Allen.
You know what's interesting?
I can't watch the Santa Claus and not think of Gia. I'm like, I know what she's been up to.
I think her real life name was Elizabeth Banks, but she couldn't use that name in Hollywood because you have another Elizabeth Banks, who's another attractive blonde woman.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's Elizabeth something.
She's a nice-looking woman, and anyway, so she went by a different name in Hollywood, but it was weird because they. But yeah, she was in the Santa Claus movies as well. That's right. She was the Mrs. Claus, right?
Yes, the Mrs. Claus. That was the subtitle for one of them. I don't remember which one.
That was the mental. Angelina Jolie, where she played the mental patient. I don't remember. I did my best with this list. I'm sure I'm going to miss a movie.
That's fair. We're going to hit on our favorites. You guys. It's up to you guys to fill us in on the ones we forget. Curtis Selby, welcome. Big Al raid. Oh yeah, because Big Al had a watch party tonight. Yeah, I hope that was awesome. I'll have to catch it on the rewatch.
Yes.
Christian Delorme's Vinyl Revival. Welcome, my friend. Or bonsoir, as you say. The 13th. Oh, I've seen the 13th Warrior. Yeah, I'll have to watch your commentary later on. Gonna party like it's 1999. Yes, no song tonight because I don't do Prince. That would be unfair to Prince. I like Prince too much to ruin his songs. And I know I saw somewhere in here. There she is. Admiral, welcome. Good evening, everyone. Sipping on an iced tea. That was my other option. I almost went with a Long Island iced tea because that was also very popular in the late 90s.
That'd be a good one. You should have that over the summer sometime. That's good.
I will. I absolutely will. I've kind of been looking forward to that. And, of course, The View with Drew. Hey everyone, what's up? Good to see you, my friend. Joshua V, welcome. And Logical Spock, good to see you, my friend. And obviously, Logical Spock, I did see the stream you shared with me. I'll have to catch it on the rewatch because, it's live, I'm live. We can't both be live in the same place at the same time. I don't know. Yeah, that you make sense of that. Sir Torrin Clegane, good evening. Welcome. Salute, my friend. Good. Glad you're here. Glad you make it. My favorite from 1999 was Toy Story 2. Okay, I didn't realize that. See, the years start to blur together, Samuel Proctor.
Very difficult making this list because I had to use my own memory recall and also the official lists out there because some of those official lists, they don't know what they're talking about.
Agreed. According to my flick chart data, I've seen 11 movies from 1999. Here's how it's ranked. Tarzan, Toy Story 2, The Mummy, Iron Giant, October Sky, The Matrix, Sixth Sense, Blair Witch, The Messenger.
Okay, well, I
Wow.
forgot.
Oh,
that.
wait a minute. He continues. The Phantom Menace and Mickey's Christmas Carol.
Not from 99.
Wow.
That's
It's not from 1990?
No, that's an 80s one.
Oh, it was re-released in 99.
Well, okay.
Because of the whole
I'll
vault
count
thing,
it. I'll
right?
count it. I kept thinking, was that the Prince and the Pauper one they made? Because that's another, even though it's not technically Christmas themed. Maybe it is Christmas.
I'll tell you
counted
what, though.
it.
Let's go back to this, right? We got, and I know you'll be hitting on these too. Tarzan, Disney, right? Toy Story 2, Pixar, right?
Yes.
Iron Giant, that was Spielberg's company, right? Whatever that one was.
Well, yeah, I think so. I thought that was a Warner Brothers animated movie.
Oh,
actually.
maybe it. Oh, yeah, you're right, because they didn't have to deal with.
That was no, that was Brad Bird made that. We'll get into it.
Okay, we'll talk about that then. But I'm like, this is back when Disney actually had.
No, Disney. Honestly, I hate to say this, it wasn't until they acquired Marvel and Star Wars that the turn happened. They were doing good stuff. We're going to talk about this on Sunday. We're going to talk about the Tinkerbell situation. I get a little weepy-eyed when I saw the picture in that article.
Let me tell you. We'll get to that too. But JPRPH1, I love the fact that you guys are enjoying each other's streams, right? I'm not just bullshitting when I recommend you guys to each other. When Netter does, has a guest on Thursday Things and whatnot, and I say, look, if I like somebody, I think you guys are going to like them too. I mean it. So,
Like our guest last night. Okay.
yeah,
I
Beyond the
asked
Hub
him,
with Nick.
Yeah, I asked Beyond the Hub. I said, I can't really tell because you're over 1,000 subs, so I can't tell how many subs you would have gotten for my stream tonight. Can you tell me what your count is now? Yeah, how many subs you got? He goes, wait, that can't be right. Then he goes, I got over 50 subs. So you guys are amazing.
Yeah, you guys really rock. Thanks so much. Dee Dee Meyer, do you have Eyes Wide Shut on your thing, Boomer?
Yes, that's
Okay.
the beginning of part 2.
Then we'll hold off on talking about that. Well, you're going to have to follow us over to Rumble for the part
Probably
2.
for that one.
But I'm going to ask you this, Dee Dee. Have you seen Abran los Ojos? If you haven't, you should, especially if you liked Eyes Wide Shut is the one where it's Tom Cruise with his wife, not Vanilla
Sky.
Not Vanilla Sky. Okay, sorry.
That's when you're thinking of.
I
Yes.
confused. I was confused. The eyes confused me. Okay, yeah. We'll have a bit of a discussion about that. Oh, there's some things I have to say about that movie too. He's not going to remember half the movies halfway through. You know me so well, right? I look like that meme, the kid, no, you're absolutely right.
He's going to have to rewatch his own stream.
Yep.
Oh, that's just because
No, I know. Yeah, so that's we're multi.
Feel free to hop over to Troy.
Yeah, I'm it's my YouTube channel, it's X, it's Rumble, it's Boomer and Netter both are using their YouTube channels too. So you can't miss us. If you're subscribed to any of us, you should be I'm showing 24 people. That means some of you guys from the other streams are counting on my numbers, and I appreciate that. Netter, you were going to say something?
No, I was going to say, yeah, Boomer and I are both simulcast as well. Although I show 18 watching now. So that's not counting Twitter and Rumble.
Yep. And,
oh, wait, yeah, because it's 18 on yours. I've got one whole person on mine, so that's 19. And Boomer's got 2 watching on his. So that's 21. And how many did you say you had?
I'm showing 23.
Okay, so a couple of them must be on Twitter or Rumble.
It is hard for me to decide, but I think I'm going with Sixth Sense as my favorite of 1999. Unless Fellowship of the Rings came out then. I don't remember. Do you know, Boomer?
Fellowship of the Ring didn't come out until 2001.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, The Sixth Sense was the first movie where the ending was a gotcha in such a unique way. And I'm like, oh, that is so awesome the way that they did that. So yeah, I have to say it's one of my favorite movies too from 1999.
I'm sorry, David. I did not like the Kathy. I loved Kathy Lee Crosby. I really did. I watched. For me, that was that's incredible, right? And of course, Battle of the Network Stars. We may have to talk about that one day for good old days, Boomer. I think a lot of these kids might not know what Battle of the Network Stars is.
That'll be a fun thing. Yeah, we'll have to do Battle of the Network Stars. Maybe this
But
Sunday. Why not? Why don't we do it this Sunday?
Because as I recall, Kathy Lee Crosby, she was a gymnast. She was very talented, and she was competing. I think I can't remember if she was doing uneven bars or the rings, but either way, although she had been working out and she, had the muscle memory and everything, she didn't have the calluses that you normally have when you do this on a regular basis. And she literally tore the skin on her palms during the competition. Anyway, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But no, I did not. That was a pilot that I'm glad never took off because, one, we wouldn't have gotten Linda Carter, and two, it wasn't Wonder Woman. It was kind of Wonder Woman in name only. Didn't even like the costume, to be honest with you. But yes, absolutely. So, but you do know that I am working. I did do a Christopher Reeve Superman and Clark Kent. So I will probably be doing a Linda Carter Wonder Woman as well, eventually. Girl Interrupted, that's the one. Okay, thank you guys. Yeah, I'm way behind here. That's the one where Angelina Jolie played a mental patient. And then it was, her life. Elizabeth Mitchell? That sounds right. I met my ex-wife on New Year's Eve, 1999. Now I think I'm going to get drunk. Fair enough, Curtis. I'm with you. Well, I'm actually already ahead of you. Let's see here. Samuel Proctor. According to my flick chart data, these are my films from 1999. I've seen... Oh, yeah, I must have read that already. Sorry. Let's see. I must have backed up. Fight Club is the best for him. Best of. Would you believe I haven't seen that one yet? I already know the trick ending. I know all of that.
Oh, for the love of Mike.
Yeah.
I saw it in the theater.
And Lady Mist, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. I meant Mickey's Once Upon a Christmas. Okay.
Oh, okay. Well, that didn't make the list,
that
sorry,
makes
but
sense.
I'm sure it was worth seeing.
Yes, Wolfie. Welcome, by the way. Good to see you, my
Wolf
friend.
Ben.
And 99, is that before your time? I don't know. But he says hi to everyone.
You might remember it a little bit, I'm sure.
Yes, Y2K actually was...
Oh, no.
That was one of those things that, in my particular industry, I knew full well there was going to be no problem, but I was able to rack up a good amount of overtime because of it.
Man, people were expecting the end of the world. Remember, it was going to be like everything was going to come crashing down.
Exactly. And welcome, Kevin Kuhn. Welcome. Let's see here.
1999 was a weird year.
Disney Sheepherder. Did you say hi to him?
Did I miss him?
I see him.
I may not have gotten to him yet. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And Kevin Kuhn says, when are we doing a Planet of the Apes since a new one's coming out? That's actually a good suggestion. I will have to put that into the hopper. Maybe in the next couple weeks on a Monday night at the movies. Maybe we do like a twofer. We do the original Planet of the Apes and then the first one in the new series. Yeah, we could probably do that. That might be pretty cool. Disney Sheepherder, there you go. Greetings all, the very best to everyone. Sorry, I haven't been around lately. Work has been tough. Dude, you don't have to explain. I thoroughly understand, especially when it comes to work. And back in 99, you had a lot of baby mama drama. I get it. I really do. Best Picture nominees for 1999, American Beauty, Cider House Rules, The Green Mile, The Insider, which is his favorite of the 5, and The Sixth Sense. And I'm sorry, I'm going to be skipping over some of these because we really do want to get started. Found my parents' 1999 wedding VHS last year. I got to digitize it into a video file. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I was always afraid of what I might come across if I found my parents' home media. Let's see. Yep, highly recommend. Yeah, even this newest one, the most that people are saying is that maybe the pacing's a little off, it's a little slow, they wish they'd have done more. But it does sound like they're definitely setting it up for sequels. Favorite 99 movie was The Fifth Element and The Mummy. We're definitely going to be talking about those tonight. You've seen all of those. And breaking news, Sony wants to buy Paramount Studios for $36 billion.
Bags of money.
My question is it actually worth that much? We'll probably end up talking about, if we don't end up talking about that on Sunday, we'll talk about it next Sunday, for sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and get into this. Share with me what you've found looking into the movies of 1999.
Me?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I forgot the Insider. Let me just add this in real quick. Save, and then I will make my PDF. But yeah, here's. I'll go over briefly what I went through with this. I remember seeing a lot of movies in '99. This was when I was a young film buff. I was kind of going to the theater almost as much as deleted scenes does now,
Mm-hmm.
and it was a great time to be a movie fan because you could go to a matinee for like $5.
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
kidding.
absolutely true. Like on what was that, Monday nights or Tuesday nights?
Monday
or
nights,
whatever?
yeah. Here's
Hey
what
Jesse,
I find.
thanks so much for being here. You didn't have to feel like you had to, I know a lot of you guys sometimes feel like Friday Night Last Call is like must see TV these days, but you got stuff going on. I totally understand, but I super appreciate you being here. If you want to be here, we definitely want you to hang out with us.
All right.
And Jesse, I'm so sorry for your loss.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, I mean, and back then it was, and I've talked about this. This was true in the 70s when a movie came out. You were never going to see it again unless they did a television edit of it or they released it again.
No, 99. Yeah, go ahead.
What were you going to say?
Say 99 was when DVD was hitting full swing. So
Yes, 99. I'm going back.
Seeing, but this was. I'm trying to lay this period. But
Yeah.
79.
I'm just reminding people that back in the 70s you had to see it in the theaters. In the 80s, you saw it in the theater, or it was going to be like another year or two before you saw it on home video.
Or
And then
cable.
by the 90s, oh yeah, you were seeing VHS within a month of it leaving the theaters, and DVD was already on the market. So
DVD was finally hitting full swing by 99. Not everybody had a player yet. People still had
True.
the VCRs, but
you could rent them at the same video store you were renting
yes.
the movies from.
they weren't cheap DVD players. I think my first one was over 400, as I recall.
Yeah.
I had a part-time job, so I saved up for one, but I remember that. But yeah, let's just get into it. Here's what I'll notice. In fact, we're going to start with our first movie here. Varsity Blues. A lot of movies oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I just wanted to because
It was
Samuel
the
Proctor was
French novel called Monkey
and it was
Planet.
very different from what we ended up getting. It was the concept was more of a like modern day technology that the apes had.
Interesting. Because I was wondering if that's what Burton was trying to go for with his, but then
a little bit, I think,
completely
yeah.
screwed up the end. Let's not get into that. What
Yeah.
year was that? 2002? I don't even want
Something
to
like that,
think
yeah.
about that. Varsity Blues. Here we go. James Vanderbeek, John Voight. Remember, he plays like the, I don't want to say sadistic coach, but not nice coach of the football
Yeah.
team.
Yep,
You
yep.
see this movie, football?
Yeah,
Football?
if your football
Smart.
coach doesn't have pyrokinetic powers, I don't even want to see it.
Okay. Anyway, Varsity Blues. I remember seeing this in the theater. It's not bad. I think Amy Smart is James Vanderbeek's girlfriend, but don't quote me on that. First DVD player. But that's what, I'll be blunt, that's what sold a lot of PS. I mean, I'm sure people were buying it for the games too, but having a DVD player in it didn't hurt. The Boondock Saints.
Oh yeah.
This one took me a while to watch. I don't think I saw this until a few years ago. Correct me if I'm wrong. The guy on the right, is that the one who plays I'm so horrible with names. I hate it when this happens. On The Walking Dead.
It does look like him, doesn't it?
Might be. I don't know if it's the same actor or not. All right, but yeah. Anyway, never mind. Okay.
No, that's
You
fine.
know of it before the stream starts, and then you forget about it. Did you like the Boondock Saints?
I didn't see it.
Okay, well, moving on. She's All That! Another teen movie. This is going to be a recurring theme here. Teen movies were very big. I think they were trying to channel like the 80s teen movies, but 90s teen movies were a bit different. But Freddie
Yes,
Prinze Jr., Rachel Lee
Sir
Cook,
Torrin confirmed it
Norman
was Norman
Reedus. Yes,
And
who plays...
in full disclosure, actually, Evelyn said it first. Yeah,
I know, Wolfton's yelling at me.
I know.
Daryl, yes, Daryl.
Yes, it's Daryl.
Oh.
And see, you say Daryl to me, and I think, "Hi, my name's Daryl." Or no, I'm Larry. This is Daryl. This is my other brother, Daryl.
Yeah.
And full disclosure, Netta and I got married in '92, and the '90s were a very, very intense, busy domestic era. You know, two-step kids. You know, professional life. You know, working in the city and stuff. It was pretty crazy. So there's a lot of movies that you're going to be like, you didn't see it? I didn't have time. And these are all movies that are kind of in the back of my mind to watch someday eventually, you know. No. In fact, it doesn't look like one that I'm even interested in right now.
Remember the Kiss Me song? Well, kiss me, you know.
Oh yeah, Sixpence None the Richer. Yeah. Did that come from this?
It's featured in this movie. Then they redid the video with Dawson's Creek characters in the background. Oh, Geekfly says, Age of War, my first DVD player was $475. Yeah, that's about right. That's probably around what I paid too.
Yeah.
I was looking at getting a Laserdisc player, and then I heard how this new format DVD was on the market. That seemed to be taking off, so I got that instead.
Yeah.
I think I asked my film professor at the time. I'm like, should I get a DVD player for later? And he says, yeah, I think it's going to be the one taking over. He was right. I might have been kicking myself if I'd gotten that Laserdisc player.
90s kid. There you go, Jesse.
90s kid, got to experience all of it. Yeah. Jawbreaker.
I've never even heard of this.
I want to say I did see this. That's Rose McGowan, I believe, in the beginning. And
I mean, she fills out that sweater really well.
Yeah, she filled it out well in Scream as well. But yeah, and
oh, Julie Benz, from what's it called? Was it Angel? Yeah, I think from Angel.
Yes, Angel. Yeah, she was in it too. I think it's another. I want to say it's another teen movie, but this one's more like One Gone Wrong because I see the woman's leg sticking out of a pile of Jawbreakers. I want to say I saw this or I saw clips of it. I don't remember. See. What were you watching in '99, Troy? You weren't watching all these teen movies.
I wasn't watching a lot. I was
I was 21, 22 at the time, so a little young for me, but not so much that I couldn't follow along, you know.
Right.
Blast from the Past.
Mm.
This one I haven't seen.
Now, this one I did, and Netta and I were just talking about this movie recently because as we were watching Fallout, she was like, okay, not exactly the same. It's a different concept, but, you know.
Alicia Silverstone might have been one of her last big roles after Batman and Robin because that movie hurt her career.
It did. And then she became a vegan, and now she, you know, who knows what she's doing now.
I don't know. I know think she tried. She almost had a TV show once. I don't know what she's been up to. Oh no, she starred in something recently on Netflix. But with I think Benicio del Toro. But, yeah, that's the last thing. Isn't that the prequel to Fallout? I've not seen Blast in the Past. This is worth seeing, though. I see the trailer for it. It's like
it is a good movie.
The bomb goes off, and Sissy Spacek and Christopher Walken play his parents, right?
No. See, that's this isn't much of a spoiler because it's really a big part of the setup. It's that whole 50s thing, right? Where they have a fallout shelter, they're prepping and all this kind of stuff. You're right, Christopher Walken's the father, and they think that the bomb has gone off or is about to go off. So they go and they get into the shelter, and he comes out years later thinking that the world is, has been destroyed, and it hasn't been, He's spent all this time underground for nothing.
And he's a good kid, but he has 50 sensibilities that are out of whack in the 90s.
Exactly.
So it's
very
like
much that whole
Powers, but with a guy from the 50s instead of the 60s.
Or actually more, I think a better example would be like Captain America. The wholesome, Captain White Bread type character who's just a fish out of water type story. It's a good story. Yeah. It's good. And that's back when I really liked Alicia Silverstone too, so.
Yeah. October Sky. I don't think I saw this one, but look at that Laura Dern, Jake Gyllenhaal. I think this is a real life story about a young kid that eventually ended up working for NASA, right? In real life, it's a biography type story.
I honestly don't even know.
Okay.
I don't even know the title. I don't know this movie at all.
But here's what's wonderful about this list here. Let's say there's a movie here that you heard great things about and you never bothered watching. Well, here's a movie you can watch now, right?
Exactly. I'll bet you that a good half of these films are probably available on whatever streaming service you got. Yeah. If not, it's probably out on Tubi or Amazon Prime or something like that.
October Sky was a great film. That's what Curtis Selby says. Okay. Office Space. Oh, that's the big one. You've seen this, right? Dude.
Hold on a second. Sir Torrin, I know he wouldn't have said it because they would have edited it out of the script. But if you read that story from the 60s, yeah, that's probably exactly how he would have talked.
But that's what the Brendan Fraser character says in that movie. And I don't think he means it in a harmful way. I think he's excited because he's read about, other.
We got a Trey sighting here. Welcome, Max World Entertainment. So good to see you, my friend. I am so confused. Why? We're talking about films from 1999 because we're seeing that a lot of films are being. Or are you confused because you're on Netter's stream? And I'm simulcasting. You could actually see if you were on X. You could see it there, or you could see it on my Rumble channel, or you could see it on Age of Boomers channel. We're all over. We're like horse droppings. We're all over the place.
Okay, so
Office Space. I swear to you. Okay, so this was one of the films I had to see in '99. It was so thematically related to my life as I was living it at that time.
You got my stapler.
Directed by Mike Judge, creator of King of the Hill and Beavis and Butthead.
That doesn't surprise me, yeah. But a lot of great memes have come out of this that have really, really stood. I'm more than triple casting. I'm quintuple casting.
I was thinking, going, what's 5?
Quintuple, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking fifthles casting.
It would be triple, quadruple, quintuple, sextuple, septuple, octuple, and then I'm lost. That's as far as I go. But yes, Office Space kind of lampoons exactly the corporate world that we were all living in.
Why does it say Paper Jam when there's no Paper Jam? Remember that
one? And it's so cathartic because then those three guys take the machine out to a field and beat the holy shit out of it with baseball bats.
Which you wanted to do.
Exactly.
You're
damn right I did.
And even the waitress played by Jennifer Aniston with all the pieces of flair she has to wear at the restaurant.
Well, if you want to wear the minimum,
I guess what is she at TGI Fridays or
something like that? Yeah, that kind of a place.
But I'm wearing my flair.
Yes, but you're wearing the minimum. Okay.
If you're wearing the minimum, I don't. It's unfortunately this is true to life. That's the problem. I want to argue with the movie, but this is based on real.
These are corporate rules that make abso-friggin-lutely zero sense, because everybody that comes in can't read all these damn buttons you got all over yourself. You put on 1 or 2 buttons, right? That's flair. That's making a statement. That's
less is more, right?
Yeah, but you know what? The corporate mentality has not changed. Just look at the world of today. No, let's not do that. Let's stay in 1999. But yeah. Cruel Intentions, basically a remake of
Dangerous Liaisons.
Dangerous Liaisons, yeah. It's a modern dress version of Dangerous
Saw
Liaisons.
this in theaters too. This was Ryan Felipe and Sarah Michelle Gellar and Reese Witherspoon.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's his stepsister, and she says you have to, I guess, seduce this innocent, pure girl, and if you do that, I guess she'll let him sleep with her because it's a stepsister.
Because that's what he really, really wanted. Yeah.
But then he ends up falling in love with. Anyway, it's an R-rated teen movie basically, which
which wasn't really all that. It's like they really toned it down, and I was like, okay, whatever. Let's face it, you really only watch it for the Sarah Michelle Gellar kissing scene with Selma Blair.
That's right.
That's the only reason you watch it.
Ah, Selma Blair. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The Rage, Carrie 2. I need to watch this. This is always
no, you do not.
No,
you do not.
Have you seen it?
Not the whole thing.
Well, how do you know? Amy Irving.
I saw enough.
She's like the school counselor in this movie. And like, there's another psionic lady in the '90s, just like Carrie. She's going to try to stop it from happening again.
If I am going to see a sequel to a Stephen King film, I'm going to be seeing what was that sequel to The Shining?
Doctor Sleep.
Doctor Sleep. I haven't seen that yet.
Watch that. I have
got the DVD of it up there on my shelf. I just haven't gotten around to seeing it.
There's a lot. There's a lot I need to catch up on. This is the problem. You see all these movies, you're like, wow, I could be watching these instead of whatever.
And Keanu Reeves shoots John Malkovich, and Buffy's life gets ruined. Oh crap! I'm confused. Yeah, exactly. That is. I do feel like that is, in seriousness, when you have these bigger name stars cast in these films, it does get a little, it can be distracting, right?
Like John Voight in Varsity Blues.
Yeah, or I was going to say, if you think about the intended castings for Superman, right, when you hear that they were considering Paul Newman, Robert Redford, all these other big names, and I'm like, Christopher Reeve was perfect. We didn't know who Christopher Reeve was at the time, so he was Superman. You know?
I could see Redford playing Green Lantern, though. Maybe. Back in the day.
You're not wrong there.
Had done that, yeah.
You're not wrong.
Clint Eastwood True Crime. I've not seen this. It's on my docket to watch.
Same here.
I heard it's not one of his best, but I still want to see it. I think it's a man's on death row, and he's going to prove he's innocent. Or I need to check it out. But
yeah.
All right. So here we go. Ed TV with Matthew McConaughey. I didn't see this. Is this the Truman Show? Is he like on TV all the time?
Sounds good. I've never seen it.
Okay, moving on. Did anyone here see Ed TV? Speak or forever hold your peas.
Try world peace.
Okay.
Visualize world peace.
Visualize world
Stop
peace.
the violins.
Stop the violins. Yes. Yes, I did see this.
Wait. The Rage Carrie 2 was better than the Chloe Grace Moretz Clary remake. That's what I figured, because I saw the Chloe Grace Moretz version.
I didn't know there was a friggin' remake.
They did a full-on remake, and not only did they remake it, but it's almost like they didn't change enough, and that it's too much like the original.
I swear.
And I'm sorry, Chloe Grace Moretz would be one of the women bullying Carrie. She wouldn't be Carrie. That's who they cast as Carrie. You can't.
I got to be honest with you. There's not enough booze. There's just not enough booze
for the Mod Squad. You excited?
No,
about
I was
Mod
saying
Squad?
for the fact that I just found out that there was a remake of Carrie.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's been 2 remakes. There was a made-for-TV miniseries,
Mm-hmm.
and then there was also the theatrical remake, which just wasn't good. Yeah, 2 Carrie remakes. Thank you.
I'm going to say this about, I'm assuming he's talking, Matthew McConaughey in Interstellar. Never been a big fan of Matthew McConaughey in film, but I saw an interview with him, and I really respected the guy, and I was like, okay, I'll give him another shot. So his more recent films, I've been feeling a little bit better about.
He's really good in True Detective Season 1.
Okay.
Oh, man, True Detective. Wow.
So the Mod Squad. So this
Season
is
3
probably,
was all right, too, but the others just forget. Yeah, okay.
This is probably where my hatred of, like, remake-ish, old TV shows made into movies type things really started to annoy me. Did not care for this. If you're going to call it the Mod Squad, it needs to be friggin' set in the 70s.
You got Claire
it does.
Danes? No, huh? Some people don't like Claire Danes. It's okay.
I don't mind her. It's just, whatever happened to her? She was in a couple movies, and then I haven't seen her forever.
I forget. She was on Homeland, which was a Showtime series for a bit.
Yeah.
And she was Temple Grandin in the Temple Grandin movie. But, yeah, I don't know. Okay, of course, here's probably one of the biggest movies of the year, The Matrix.
Hell, they could have stopped there, and they'd have been just fine,
I forgive part 2, even with his eccentricities. It was the third one that kind of brought me down. Because there was enough in part 2 that I liked that I didn't care about the stuff.
That's why I haven't seen the more recent one. It's like, just stop.
No. But yeah, The Matrix, the first Matrix movie, we got it right here. I did not see this in the theater. I think I was at school and I visited home that weekend, and my friends had gone out to see it without me, and then was like, okay, well, I'm not going to go make them see it again with me. So, but I missed The Matrix, and I realized, then I think I tried going to see it on my own, and then it wasn't playing anymore, because as soon as, like, Phantom Menace hits, these things they just started kicking everything out of the theater.
I actually ended up seeing The Matrix. I wasn't rushing out to the theater to see it, but we ended up seeing it as a matinee with the church teen group. We took all the kids to see it, and I was talking with the young guy who led the boys, and we were just doing an analysis of the biblical implications, and I was the one that pointed out to him, did you not catch, Cypher, like the devil reference? He's like, I don't get it. And I'm like, Cypher as in Louis Saphir?
It's funny, though, but it sounds like a cyberpunk name.
Yeah. No, that's intentional. That's very intentional. Yes. And he still wasn't quite getting it, and then I realized I had to really explain it to him, because English was his second language. He was from Russia.
Right.
And I'm like,
there you go.
Okay. I said, okay, so Lucifer, right?
Right.
You're with me on that. He's like, yeah, gotcha. I said, or think of it as a French name, Louis Saphir. Okay, I'm with you. And Saphir would be spelled Cypher.
Yes.
And he goes, oh, I get it now. Okay. There you
Probably the most influential movie that year, if I want to think about it, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you think about it, many of the themes are pretty straightforward. I mean, yeah, there's the Jesus allegory, and the hero and the Messiah complex and all that kind of stuff. But what's interesting is it forces you to consider the mental exercise of the brain in the jar, right? This whole concept of what is real. What if you were just a brain in a jar and all of your experience was just fed into it? Is it reality or is it not reality? What makes reality, is it just your perception? Because if that's what it is, the Matrix would be reality.
Someone's
kind of
asking...
a philosophical mind screw kind of thing.
Sorry, hold on. I forgot who was asking me if I saw Angel Heart. Was Jennifer Lopez in that? Or am I thinking of a different movie? It rings a bell. I don't know if I saw it, but I'm aware of it. Yeah, maybe I need to watch it.
Carrie Ann Moss looks like a mom in a plain dress when you see her in anything else, but she looks darn good in leather. You're not wrong, but I'll be honest with you.
She looked good in
when she looks like a mom in a plain dress, she looks pretty good too. But then I got mommy issues, so let's not go there.
Okay, so
so by the way, given that, I highly recommend the movie Fido. It's a I don't even want to call it a horror comedy. It's just a comedy with horror elements. Movie. It's a zombie movie, yeah.
Okay.
And Carrie Ann Moss is the mom in this, 50s type setting.
I see. Deleted scene saying Angel Eyes was Jennifer Lopez. I don't know if I've seen Angel Heart or not, but I'll look into it.
Wait, he said Angel Eyes. Angel Heart is a different movie.
The other person's whoever. I'm sorry, this thing is scrolling by too fast. But,
something.
Angel Heart was one with Mickey Rourke, Robert De Niro, and Lisa Bonet. I did not see it.
Yes,
but it sounds like it's worth watching. If that was from this year,
it was worth watching. You should definitely see it. Yes.
But
that's yeah. Whoever brought that up, yeah, that was because of my reference to Louis Saphir. Exactly.
Okay, but I'll look into that. It sounds good. Yeah. Okay.
Right, because Mickey Rourke takes the card. Was it Mickey Rourke? Whoever the main actor was takes the card from the Louis Cypher. He said that's Louis Saphir, and the way he says it, it's like if you're not keyed in right then and there, you're missing it. Yeah.
10 things I hate about you. Oh, are we still talking about The Matrix?
No. We can go on. We can move on.
I mean, it's an important movie.
Especially if we're only going to talk about that movie, because we could go into a discussion about Animatrix.
Okay. Yeah, there was the Animatrix, which I loved, which I could...
was this the one with the Joker?
Heath Ledger, yes.
Yeah.
This I did see. I might have caught this on video. That's another thing too. Everybody was buying DVDs, so a friend will just go out and buy the DVD and show it to you if you didn't see it.
Our friend from the future, Sashi. Greetings, welcome. Good to see you, my friend.
But this had Heath Ledger in it. This is a redo.
There's a lot more to it than that, but that was at least part of it. You're right.
This is a kind of a redo of like a modern version of Taming of the Shrew.
Yep.
And,
yep, that's
one guy wants
exactly
to
right.
date this woman's sister, and she's like interfering and being a total. So Heath Ledger is called into.
So is that the second movie that's a remake of an Elizabethan story? I'm sorry, Nora, what were you going to say?
So far was Varsity Blues.
Gorilla's random thoughts.
I did not. Welcome, Gorilla. He says, "Kapla. I'll be listening as." I look for the North. Oh, yeah. Connie was saying the same thing. You guys are watching the Aurora Borealis. Good.
How about a high school football movie that's a redo of Henry V, huh?
I can kind of see that, actually.
Or basketball. You could do
Yeah.
Never Been Kissed, Drew Barrymore, David Arquette. I want to say I saw this. I just don't remember it.
Not exactly, but sort of some of the elements of Cyrano de Bergerac in this. Okay. Very good story. I really, really like this. Okay. It helps that this was really at that point where I'd kind of gotten over Drew Barrymore as the little girl from E.T. Because you kind of need to find her at least cute and attractive, adult.
It's easier for me because I was around her age when E.T. came out, so it's not weird for me to, see her in that light. I guess I
was nearly traumatized when I was, sneaking peeks at my dad's Playboys and I saw her layout. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's that kid from E.T.
What was my big thing? I think I'd never seen the Grinch live action Grinch movie with Taylor Momsen, and I was like. I finally watched it a few years ago. I was like, what happened to Taylor Momsen? I knew she was on Gossip Girl, but I didn't watch that. And then I'm watching, she's in this...
Who did she play Gossip Girl?
I don't know. She was in the first few seasons. She was then in she's now like in a rock band where she...
Oh, I know exactly. She's the little sister.
Things from the snake.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just... Anyway. Existence. I don't know why I've never watched this. this is one that was on my docket to watch. This was Existence, which was a David Cronenberg movie made up in Canada. And this was a lot. I remember some kids I do at school saying, "This is better than The Matrix," because it's another one of these things where the person's stuck in like a virtual world. I remember why I didn't watch
Who's
this.
in this?
I don't. You know what? Let me find out for you. But I remember this came out on DVD, and it was a bare bones DVD. But the Canadian version had all these special features, and I was mad. And I'm like, I'm not going to buy this until we get the one with the special features. And then I forgot about it. Existence. I kind of want to say it was Daryl
Jude Law, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Willem Dafoe, Ian Holm.
I need to watch.
Holy crap! I need to see this movie.
It's a science fiction too. I need to watch this. Yeah, I'll. You know what?
Christopher Eccleston, Sarah Polley. Wow!
Polley,
yes. Wow! Okay, yeah, I gotta see this one. Okay, I gotta remember. I gotta keep this tab open so I can remember to see.
You're breaking up a little bit, but it could be me.
No, it's probably me. I was mumbling a little bit.
You're okay now. All right. Three Kings. I keep thinking. I don't know why I think this movie came out later, but I guess it did come out this year. This was
set during the Iraq War. Yeah.
Yeah, George Clooney is in this. Mark Wahlberg, Ice Cube. A decent war flick, I thought. I mean, yeah, nothing bad. Okay. Anyway, what was I going to go next to? The Election. Yes, Election. Matthew Broderick, Reese Witherspoon.
I want to say that I saw this.
Chris Klein was in this as well. His career kind of fell off a bit, but did you ever see Election? I've read the book too.
I mean, I feel like I did,
Flick.
but
this is a.
Are we getting solar flare interference? Oh, with the Aurora Borealis, that could very well be the case. I
is that why my earphones keep going out?
It could be. It could be.
I'm expecting the world to end this year. Anyway,
I've been expecting it to end for the past 4, but we'll see.
I wrote a science paper once on extinction, and I realized that a solar flare would really screw us up. Like if it was a bad one. It could kill off all life on the surface.
It could, but what's more likely to happen?
Might survive, but yeah, it would be. Yeah.
What's far more likely to happen is it wipes out the internet and electronics, and then people will suddenly realize, oh, gee, maybe we should take all those warnings seriously when people said an EMP could take out our country.
There's a British series about that happening. It's in London.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's I think Robert Carlyle is the what is it? The labor leader in that, and
Sashi.
Yeah.
Nah, you're breaking up because you're covering 1999. It's Y2K.
Of course. This is a good movie. I think I like the book better, though. I think the movie.
Books are almost always better.
Well, no, the movie's great too. The movie is just the Matthew Broderick character is less sympathetic in the movie, but you also hate Tracy Flick. It's basically about a teacher that does not like this young girl running for election. This teenage girl, because she's, I don't know if I want to say perfectionist. It's just, you have to watch it. It's but yeah, in fact, he did a follow-up book to it I think it's called Tracy Flick Can't Win or something. I need to check that out, but yeah. Okay. All right, moving on. Entrapment.
Yeah, this was the heist movie, right? Is this the one where Catherine Zeta-Jones is in a very sexy fashion feeding her body underneath electric eye beams?
This was the cat burglar movie with her and older Sean Connery at this point, right?
Yeah.
But is there a bit of a romance maybe brewing between these two? Maybe. That's Catherine Zeta-Jones.
I know. I think I saw at least part of this movie. I don't remember.
I'm sure Michael Douglas saw this too. I'm sorry. I'm kidding. No, I'm kidding. Actually, that might be in bad taste considering he invited his ex-wife to the wedding, which was weird. Anyway, the movie lets everyone off the hook.
Actually, it's funny you say that. I don't think that's so weird. I think you do that because it's like, I'm doing better than you are. I'm doing better than you, period.
Catherine Zeta-Jones. Oh, Geek Flag loves her. Yeah, nice-looking lady. Remember she was in The Phantom?
Oh, was she?
Yes. I think she was the pilot lady in that. She was also in... what else was she in? Mask of Zorro.
She was in The Mask of Zorro. That was an excellent film. Yeah, I like that one.
I did like that one a lot. That was a good one. Yeah. Love the Phantom. Okay. Idle Hands horror movie. Did not see it. I remember Jessica Alba was in it though, and Seth Green, and I think this guy's hand comes to life and starts doing bad things, and like his friends come back as ghosts or zombies, and I don't know. It was like a horror comedy. Maybe I need to watch it. I'm sure all these movies that I dismissed back in the day, I now need to watch and realize
very possibly, yeah.
Probably gems.
Let's face it, even the worst movies
was the object of his affection. So
even the worst movies of '99 are probably better than most of the films from today.
I hate to say this. I made the argument for Terminator 3 that it got a lot of flack, but watching it today, it's not. I'm not saying it's as good as the first two, but it's a competent action movie at its worst, and it's like this is Connery would be 69 in 1999, eh? Here we go. The Mummy. This is where we really start to get into this summer movie season.
And let's face it, this is exactly why we brought up this topic, because we have The Mummy and Phantom Menace being re-released this year for their 25th anniversaries. 25 years. Damn it, man.
This is the second Brendan Fraser movie this year. Not the last one. There's another one coming too.
True.
He was
big this year, yeah.
I loved The Mummy. When I was a child, I think 8 years old, I discovered the Boris Karloff Mummy on regular TV, and I recorded it. And I was obsessed because I was into Indiana Jones like a year before, so I was all into the Egyptian stuff. Then I watched The Mummy.
Yeah.
And I wish if this movie had come out when I was 8, I would have went through the roof, because it basically combines with like Indiana Jones and the Universal Mummy movie together. Basically, it's like, because you have all the horror stuff, but then you have kind of like a more respectable leading man with O'Connell played by Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser, yeah.
Who has guns and shoots to kill and that sort of thing, instead of these awful leading men they had in those old.
I would almost argue, Mr. Londell, this is almost not even a remake. This is absolutely something else. The original Mummy was a horror film. This was an action-adventure film.
But I think that this is how you want to remake it. Bring something new to the table, and I thought they did a wonderful. I love the fact that it was period.
And they have never recaptured this. When they absolutely should have. This is what they should be doing with all of their Universal monsters, and they're not.
Great cast. I'm not even mentioning the rest of the cast here. We had Rachel Weisz.
Oh, yeah.
Hold on. Oh, I hate it when this happens. The Mummy. Let me look it up. But Mummy 1999. We also had...
I gotta say one other thing about this whole series.
Evelyn, Arnold Vosloo as Imhotep. Remember, he was in the not in the original. I'm trying to think what Vosloo has been in. He wasn't in the original Darkman, but he was in the sequels. That's right.
Right, exactly.
And Odette Fair, who actually is in the Resident Evil movies.
Rachel Weisz. She's in the first two movies, and then they recast her in the third one. And was it the other way around?
No, they did recast her, but no, that was not a smart idea.
No. I think it was necessary for whatever was going on behind the scene. But I'll tell you, of all the recastings of a character, the way they did that was perfect. They did that whole, where you're only seeing her from behind for a little while, and then when you finally do see her, I think it was Brendan Fraser has a line like, "Wow, you don't even look like yourself," or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh, that's cute. That's how you do it."
Well, Maria Bello, I think, was the new Evelyn, and that might have been responsible for Brendan Fraser's divorce. I'm not saying he did anything, but I think she had a rumored of doing things with her male castmates, and he had a very nasty divorce. He had one of the worst divorces in Hollywood, from what I'd heard. I
would imagine, yeah. And that took a big toll on, let's face it, his whole life after that.
And I don't even know if he did anything. He may have been completely innocent, too. He may not have had the affair, but I think she had a reputation, and I don't know. Patricia Velasquez as Anaxu Moon.
Oh, yes.
Whatever. She looked great in the gold paint. That's what I remember.
Oh, yeah.
But great movie. A lot of fun. but we were all preoccupied with another movie coming out, weren't we?
Oh, yeah.
Later. But before we get to that, Notting Hill!
Yeah.
Did you see this one? Julia Roberts, Hugh Grant?
If I did, I have no recollection of it. I don't remember.
It looks like a romantic comedy. I am going to say this, too. What is the trend here in 99? A lot of movies for teenagers that are also kind of double as romantic comedies. A lot of movies for adults, romantic comedies. Romance was in the air in 99. Think about it. We don't get a ton of romance movies now. But back then, they're all over the place. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
I guess this was when the internet was still young, so there wasn't all the war between the sexes, I guess we have now.
Yeah.
Let's not get into that. Here we go, the big one.
Yeah. Yeah, and I remember there was a lot of hype for this movie.
It was through the roof.
So they tried. They did everything right with the marketing on this film. Especially with the toy companies, with Hasbro and so forth. They flooded the market with the action figures in advance of this movie. So people like myself were going and getting everything, with the same kind of excitement and nostalgia that we did from the days of Star Wars and Empire Strikes Back and whatnot.
It was all back. We were excited. It's back. It's back. We never thought it would come back, and it's here.
The problem was that they overflooded the market, which was fine. Which was fine if you were a kid that wanted to play with these toys, or even an adult collector who didn't really care about collector value. Just you wanted them for to go with your original Star Wars figures. And I'll tell you, there were some toys that they took risks when they were putting out the toys, because they did things like accessory packs. So there's a scene in episode 1 in the Phantom Menace underwater, and there was an accessory pack that had fins, to put on their feet, and a breath mask and all this kind of stuff. So you could literally take these items and put them on like a scout trooper and turn them into an aquatic trooper. And things like that. It was really, really cool. They had this set where you could get one of those little yellow, it wasn't a power droid, but it was some sort of a maintenance droid. And there was like the poncho that Qui-Gon wore, and some replacement guns and lightsabers and stuff. And I'm like, I wish they had done this back in the original days. The only time they did that was there was a mail away where you could get the Jedi harness and the Hoth backpacks and the masks that they wore when they got out of the Millennium Falcon, stuff like that. But that was once, and it was a mail-in thing. These you could buy in the store, and I bought a bunch of them because I was like, you don't even use them just for the prequel. You use them for your old figures, you use them for whatever.
They anticipated demand.
They absolutely did.
Maybe overdid it probably in some way.
Yeah, the thing was, though, that word of mouth on this kind of started cooling things off.
I remember.
Because Jar Jar was not a hit at all. Nobody liked Jake Lloyd's character. There was a lot of things that were like, and these things got worse. It wasn't Jake Lloyd's fault. Let's put it that way. They never should have had had Anakin as a child like that. We should have been starting that second movie should have been the first movie, and any storyline related to this should have been lines from the movie. Just the same way when you start out in the original Star Wars, you don't know what the Clone Wars are, you don't know what the Galactic Senate is, but you kind of piece it all together. You get the whole story of Obi-Wan and
Trade Federation. That would have been the previous fight. The Battle of the Trade Federation. I'll say this: the world building was very good in these. I mean, people have their thoughts in the prequels, but the world building, the conflict that was set up, it's
and honestly, Curtis, thank you for bringing it back to center. Right? It's still better than Disney, so yeah. I'm just painting the picture from 1999. You're right. Looking back, prequels look like fine art by comparison.
Well, speaking of fine art, look at this poster. This is a painted painted poster.
Yeah.
Like we used to get before they started making all the photo posters. And notice when Disney did their Star Wars sequel trilogy, they went with photos because they just don't care. I'm sorry. Really
no, you're absolutely right. And Episode 1 was the last Star Wars movie that I got on VHS. And that was only because somebody gave it to me as a gift. It was a gift set with the VHS and a book and stuff like that.
It didn't come out on DVD right away. I think it came out before Revenge of the Sith did.
Yeah.
It did come out before that. It came out before Clone Wars, I think. Yeah, Attack of the Clones. It came out on DVD before then, I believe. It might have come out on DVD a year later. So Lucas was slow adopting, but he did embrace it. I mean, it's... DVD was rough because, well, we all know why he released it on VHS first, because he knew everyone who bought it on VHS would also buy the DVD. Right. And this was the perfect time. Just release it on VHS. People are complaining, why is it on DVD? Because I got to buy and of course it got announced like a year later. Here it's coming on DVD. I want to, Birdman's not here, but I want to make careful attention to the score, the John Williams score. Remember the John Williams score?
Oh, yeah. Movie? Because that's where they introduced the Duel of the Fates.
Yes. Did Disney ever give a shit about Star Wars? I don't know. Like I said, when Disney bought them, I felt they were a different company. And they had a good relationship with George Lucas in the past. You had a lot of Star Wars stuff in the parks before they bought Lucasfilm. And now it's just we know what happened. And as we said about the earnings call, how they were asking about Marvel and other Disney movies, and nobody brought up Star Wars, and you said because nobody cares anymore.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Nobody even cares.
But this was a big deal. Remember the Taco Bell Pizza KFC promotions with this?
No, I don't.
They had toppers for the drinks, and you had to go to different locations to get different toppers.
I do remember.
I think I had a Queen Amidala topper.
There was some really weird tie-ins. There was a lollipop that was, one of those push-up type pops, and it was Jar Jar's head, and you open his mouth, and his tongue came out. His tongue was the sucker. I'm like, who thought this was a good idea?
Somebody did. The merchandise was all over the place. I remember I was hyped for this movie, and around the time of the release of this movie was coming out Star Wars Episode 1 Racer for Nintendo 64. I kid you not. I went to a GameStop, and I said, I want to pre-order this thing. He said, oh, that's smart. This thing is going to sell out. And the guy even got me into buying the Player's Guide with it, which was fine. I used to buy Player's Guides, but I pre-ordered it, got the Player's Guide, picked it up. I think 2 years later, I see Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace for Nintendo 64 on sale at a Toys R Us for $10. I paid like $60 for it. What can you do?
Jesse Guajardo says, Aged Boomer, back then Disney was renting Star Wars. That's true. Yeah. It was kind of it was like a Lend-Lease deal because they had the Star Tours. I did get to see Star Tours. I enjoyed that.
They've redone it with sequel movie stuff now.
Of course they have. I don't give a crap about it now.
Because I went to see it after Force Awakens came out, but before Last Jedi, I went on Star Tours.
I have the Phineas and Ferb Star Wars special on DVD. Yep. You're absolutely right.
But yeah, no, big deal when it came out. People soured on it quickly. It's one of
but
these
did
things.
You notice that when it was re-released a couple weeks ago,
it
did very, very well.
In fact, thanks for bringing that up. I got to see what the box office tally. We have to talk about that Sunday. I almost forgot about that. Yeah,
exactly.
But Episode 1 made $1.41 billion. Made a lot of money. And I kept thinking. You know what's funny? When I'm doing all these movies, I'm like, where is Samuel L. Jackson? He was in every movie all the time back then, and I don't say. And I forgot he was in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace.
Yes, he was. And that's the funny thing too. It did $1.041 billion. When Disney purchased Star Wars, they were doing it because the intent was that it was a money-making machine. They literally fucking killed it. They took something that they should have just been able to sit back and print money, and it's like they took a sledgehammer to it, and now they can't print money anymore.
Do you remember when Thor: Love and Thunder was coming out, and Taika Waititi, I think he mentioned to Natalie Portman, they got me slated to direct a Star Wars movie. Do you want to be in it? And she says, I've been in Star Wars movies. He says, which ones? And she says, episodes 1, 2, and 3. I think that really happened. It's like you didn't know that.
That is the glaring underlining of why these movies are failing, because these people have no clue. Guys, Star Wars was 6 movies. You can watch 6 movies in 1 week before you start working on whatever shit you're going to start putting out. It's not like Star Trek where you got to watch, 3 seasons of this, and 7 seasons of that, and 7 seasons of that, and 7 seasons of that, 4 seasons of the other, 6 movies. No, there isn't that much lore for Star Wars. Just watch the damn movies,
I sometimes wonder when people they do a modern trilogy sequel, sometimes they don't even pay attention to what they did in the prior movie. It's like, sorry, don't get me started on the Saw films. There was a major conflict with Spiral, which I don't count. Anyway,
I actually don't remember that, Jesse. That sounds pretty damn epic. I'll have to see. It's probably out on YouTube somewhere.
And Colonel Sanders and the Pizza Hut delivery girl. They had to make up a Pizza Hut mascot, so it was the Pizza Hut delivery woman.
I dig it. That works. Yeah.
And like Colonel Sanders, I think, had a lightsaber, and the Pizza Delivery girl had a blaster, and I don't know what the Taco Bell dog had. The Taco Bell dog, he got canceled a while ago though. Culturally insensitive, right? The Chihuahua.
Which sucks, because all that does is we're telling all of Latin America, you know what? We don't care that you like it. We're trying to erase you from culture.
I know. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's like that meme out there where it shows the Land O'Lakes girl, Aunt Jemima, Uncle Ben, and Quaker Oats guy. And in each successive frame, it's taking one away until it's just the Quaker Oats guy. And it says, you get it yet?
Yeah.
It's so offensive, we're going to remove all your representation. That's what should offend you. Just saying. Well, it's like when they tried to get rid of Speedy Gonzalez. The Latin American community blew up, and they're like, F you! That's ours!
You're going to talk about Capture the Droids in a Battle Tank. That's right. You need to watch those Taco Bell.
I'll look them up. Yeah, I'll look them up for sure.
All right, but that's it for Phantom Menace. But if we have any other things to talk, I know this was the big movie of the summer. This was the one that people were waiting with bated breath. When I saw The Mummy a week prior, I think one of the managers of the theater comes out in front of us where The Mummy starts. Now I know y'all are coming out to Star Wars next week. Let's not pretend, okay? And he's like, I know you pre-order your tickets. Now we have some rules for next week.
Okay. I will defend George on this one, because no, it's the other way around. They started out with a CG Yoda that
did not in Phantom Menace. They replaced.
No, you're right. Okay, I'm sorry. You're right.
In later cuts of Phantom Menace, like the ones that are available now, he's now the CG Yoda. But in the original release, he was still the puppet. Yes,
you're right, and it was a horrible looking puppet that did not look any friggin' thing like Yoda. So when they actually replaced it with CG, I saw the behind the scenes on this. It was friggin' brilliant. They put together the CG and cut it and rendered it, and they're like, that looks terrible. And they're like, what's wrong? And Frank Oz looked at it and says, it doesn't look like the puppet. And they literally went back and redid the model of the CG, modeling his hand inside of it. And they modeled the physics of the ears and stuff so it would move the way Yoda's ears moved and stuff on the puppet. They literally recreated the puppet in CG. And talk about right tool for the right job. Because what is a CG model except a digital puppet?
Yeah.
And instead of making it out of foam and wire and whatever you physically make it out of, you do all that stuff in the computer, and then you build the physics into it. And
Yeah.
I'll be honest, they fixed that one. They actually fixed something.
It was the right call in that situation, but I don't recall anyone complaining about the Yoda puppet in Phantom Menace. It followed what was it they saw in the prior movies. It didn't seem out of place. But
Well, it
they
just
fixed it. They made a bad decision much better. That's what you're saying. Yes.
Yeah. I looked at Yoda and I'm like, this. Well, and you expected to see Yoda in these prequels, right? You had to see him as the Jedi Master who had trained Obi-Wan, and so on and so forth. And it's like, I understand that Yoda is younger, but first off, the guy's 900 years old. He's not going to look that much different in 20 years. Someone that's around for 900 years, 20 years is nothing to him, right? So you probably shouldn't have changed his look at all. Just maybe made his robes less tattered, But
Before we go, Trade Federation robots. What'd you think of them?
You're talking about Rogers?
Yeah.
Those guys? Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was pretty cool. It was weird and comical, and then as I started thinking through the lore, it kind of made sense, especially as you see what happens throughout Clone Wars and how it, the battles go and how it ultimately.
Plus, in episode 4, when they go into the bar and he says, "Your droids are not welcome here," I think that's honed over hatred of robots from the.
Yeah, I really do feel like we were really. He probably fought in the Clone Wars or something and was like, "Nope, no droids,
no droids in here. It's not happening."
Yeah, and the fact is, you see, and this is another great thing. You get little bits of lore, implications of things, and then you have to fill in all the rest. So you have this concept of restraining bolt, right? And you don't know what a restraining bolt is, other than the Jawas put them on. And then, Luke takes it off, because R2 says, the restraining bolt's short-circuiting something. I need you to take it off if you want me to do this. And you realize, okay, this has to do with that little remote control that can shut him down and all this kind of stuff. It's a control mechanism, which means a robot can get out of control. And especially when you see, like, IG-88, you realize, okay, there's assassin droids, So then when you start seeing the Trade Federation, it's like, okay, I can understand why they would use droids in the army. Okay, I can understand why you dumb them down, because then you have more control over them, So yeah, I kind of liked it. It kind of made sense.
All right, The Virgin Suicides. Sofia Coppola directed movie.
Didn't see it.
Okay, I think Josh Hartnett was in this.
Was it about virgins who commit suicide?
I think so. Anyway, okay, never mind. It was interesting.
Okay. Who was in it?
What? Kirsten Dunst.
Oh.
Kirsten Dunst.
Okay, maybe I should check.
Josh Hartnett was in it too. I think it was interesting. I don't know.
Okay.
Oh boy, yes. Great one here. Jim Jarmusch directed movie Ghost Dog: The Way of the Samurai. Forrest Whitaker. Forrest Whitaker really is one of our underrated actors.
Oh, I love Forrest Whitaker. I don't think I've seen a movie with him in it that I didn't like. Well, okay, I didn't care for him in Rogue One, but that was just the character I didn't like. It wasn't him.
This is wonderful. I think he plays like a low-level criminal, and he ends up, maybe his life gets saved by a mobster.
Okay.
Like an Italian mobster. So he ends up basically, he's like now a samurai. He follows the code of the samurai. Now he's loyal to this mobster in the movie. But then something happens where, I don't know if it's almost like it's like an urban setting, but he follows the way of the samurai. He reads the books. And like there's mafia stuff in it too. It was interesting. I enjoyed this movie a lot. I recommend it if you've not seen it.
I would not have guessed that's what it was about based on the title. I'll have to check it out.
The mobsters remind me of the mobsters that were on The Sopranos.
Okay.
They have kind of the same feel, like there's. I don't know if this made it into the movie. There's a cut scene in this where they're talking about, hey, what about the recycling thing you have going on? Oh yeah, that's where we have the people put the cardboard in the one thing and the glass in the other and the plastic in the other. And where does all that go? It all goes in the dumpster. It was basically
That's true. That's true.
Like it was a scam. They basically
It is. But it's funny. It's not a scam that's run by the mob in real life.
No.
It really is a scam, period.
I guess in this, it was a cut scene from the movie, but this was funny.
Oh, okay.
You couldn't make, they would call it cultural appropriation. Yeah, that's because, yeah, they probably would, yeah. But that's what I think is interesting, though. You have kind of East meets West, and
yeah.
You know, I recommend this. In fact, check it out if you get a chance. Ghost Dog, The Way of the Samurai. It's good. Austin
There
Powers, The Spy Who
Heather
Shagged
Graham.
Me.
Heather Graham.
Beautiful Heather Graham.
Yep.
Didn't like it as much as the first one, but there's still plenty of laughs to be had.
Yeah.
It's funny. I didn't like this as much as the first one. I think Goldmember, they consider that the least of them, but I think it's underrated.
There was a lot of gross out humor in Goldmember. I didn't care for it.
Okay. They got grosser as they went along.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
There's a gross out scene in this one, which I'm sorry. I think they had Fat Bastard stool sample that they were trying to examine, and they have it in a coffee mug, and Austin drinks it, and is like, Austin's don't, it's shit. And he says, well, the coffee's not that bad. It's a bit nutty, but.
Oh God!
That's gross.
Oh.
This was the one with Mini Me, remember? Mini Me?
Yes, Vern Troyer. Yeah.
I don't know. I like these movies. I think the first one's the best, but there's fun to be had in the sequels too. With you, I know probably the gross out humor gets worse with each one, but
I shall call him Mini Me.
Mini Me. Oh man! Remember he made the? Is this one where he made the Death Star? I'm gonna call it the Death Star, and Scott Evil's like, "Are you kidding me?"
Rip off. Yeah.
Rip off. Yes.
Because they're still going with the whole concept of, he has lost all the... He's like the evil Captain America, right? He has no concept of cultural trends that he's missed.
Well, neither did Austin, but they were culturally out of step in different ways. Like, he was the supervillain. Like, I remember in the first Austin Powers where they're at the father-son therapy session... And and Carrie Fisher's the one running it. Remember that? And she goes, "Let's see, Mr. Evil, Doctor Evil," and the music gets all sinister. And then he starts talking about his sad story about how he was the son of a Belgian lingerie salesman and a French prostitute with webbed toes. And he starts going, "Summers were interesting, luge lessons," and this is, I think it's a play on the whole thing from Dr. No, where he goes into his life story about his tragic life story, and it's like Bond doesn't care.
My favorite line, I'm pretty sure it was from this one, when he's talking about the age, and he said, "Not much to tell. There was a gas shortage and a fucking seagulls, and that's about it. Trust me, I looked it up."
The 80s, yes, funny. He's not wrong either, is he?
No, he's kind of not wrong.
I am gonna say though, franchise got a serious boost from video. Yeah, Geek Flag was saying the same thing, Bruce.
And look, that is really why we do streams like this. That's why we do the watch parties on Mondays and Saturdays and Fridays and whenever we do them. It's because these films existed. You may not have seen them. They might have either been before your time, or like me, I had life happening, so I missed most of a decade. We can relive that stuff. It's still out there. It's still good, and it's definitely better than any crap that Hollywood's putting out now.
Well, we try to point out the good stuff, right?
You're right. The gas shortage was in the 70s. That was Jimmy Carter. Right.
Fox. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm sorry. He's doing the quote. "My father would womanize. He would drink. He would make outrageous claims like he invented the question mark. Sometimes he would accuse chestnuts of being lazy. That sort of general malaise that the genius possess and the insane lament." I remember that line in the first
I do remember that line. That was good. Yeah.
Dr. Evil, who was... He was like an amalgamation of all the Bond villains, and he had all the physical traits of all three Blofelds, which I thought was funny, like the...
No, Putin, you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of movies that have gotten sequels specifically because maybe they didn't do so well in the theaters, but then they did really, really well on home media. Look, it doesn't matter how they make their money. They make their money, you know? This is why a lot of people were saying, get out and buy those Blu-rays and DVDs of Alita so that maybe we can get a sequel. And, well that's not going to help. Disney clearly does not give a crap about making money.
The problem is we know if it's 20th Century Fox was still running things, we'd have a shot. In fact, they might have made one already.
Exactly.
Speaking of Disney, though, we have the big Walt Disney Pictures animated movie of the summer, which was Tarzan.
Tarzan, yeah.
Did you see this one?
I did.
Yeah.
I may have it on DVD.
Not bad. Minnie Driver is Jane, which is a change from the book. She's an American in the books. They made her British in this one,
right.
But we let it go. It's still. I still thought it was a good movie. Apparently, Edgar Rice Burroughs, when they were making the Tarzan movies, I don't know if he had seen the original ones, but I think he wanted. He said the Tarzan always should have been an animated movie because Tarzan, the way his body is, how he swings on the thing, you couldn't do that with a regular actor. So Not bad, not a bad Disney movie. It had the who did this? This was Phil Collins did the main songs for this. Remember?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, not bad. Lance Henriksen did a voice in it.
Yep.
Rosie O'Donnell also did a voice in it. So, but not bad. A good Disney movie. I'll say this is a good Disney movie. You have great Disney movies. You have good Disney movies. You have Brother Bear, which. Maybe some of you in the chat liked. Anyway,
I never saw
which
it.
I did not.
Never
okay.
saw it.
It was one of the last ones they did. Now we don't even get these traditional animated movies anymore because I miss these traditionally animated movies. I was starting to go to the theaters to see Disney movies at this point, right when they were winding things down. But oh well. Disney Stars movie is great, and the animated series is fun to watch on Toon Disney. I've not seen the animated series, so I'll look into that. But yeah, it's funny. Back then, Disney, it's like today, they would have their Pixar movie of the year and their Disney animated movie of the year. They would try to do both, you know?
Yeah. Oh, Big Daddy. Yeah.
Remember Big Daddy? I remember getting the DVD of this for Christmas that year.
And do you remember the kid's name?
No.
The character's name?
No.
I may be thinking of the wrong movie.
Steve Buscemi was in this as a homeless gentleman. And there's a scene where he wants to take the kid to go to McDonald's for the breakfast, and they get there, and it's before 11, and he says, "I'm sorry, we stopped serving breakfast at 10:30." And then the kid starts crying, and he says, "I'll get you a Happy Meal. Do you want a Happy Meal?" And it's all just... Okay, whatever. This was when they wouldn't be let into the restaurant to use the bathroom.
Right.
And they said no. I said, "Okay, come here." And then they went to the back door, and they beat on the back door.
Yeah, I don't blame them. I honestly don't blame them. That's
pretty
freaking ridiculous. Yeah.
But yeah, Big Daddy. It's all right. Favorite Sandler movie is Little Nicky. I need to watch that one still.
Little Nicky was another good one too. Yeah.
Actually, I think my favorite Sandler movie is Uncut Gems, where it's dark, but he's almost playing a Sandler-esque character, but like in like real life. It's weird.
Yeah. Gosh, I'm trying to think. I think my favorite. I have two favorites when it comes to Adam Sandler. It's 50 First Dates and The Wedding Singer.
That's a good one too. Yeah, the Drew Barrymore. They were good. They did a third one with the two of them.
Oh gosh, that's right. Drew Barrymore was in both of them, wasn't she?
And she was in a third one with him too. I think it was like a mixed family or something where they. I don't remember. But I remember the garbage video on the DVD of this with Shirley Manson. That was interesting. She was doing stuff with her legs, and anyway, let's move on.
Blended.
Okay, Blended. I didn't see that.
That's the other Adam Sandler movie.
At least I don't think I did.
Here we go.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
I have never seen Wild Wild West, and I intend never to see Wild Wild West. Have you seen it?
I have, unfortunately.
Tell me all about it.
So this is another one of those movies where I wanted to like it. There's a very steam/diesel punk element to it that I really, really liked. And of course, Kevin Kline, Will Smith, I liked them both.
Yeah, Will Smith was Mr. 4th of July. That was his nickname.
Yeah, not to mention, this is coming off of, I had seen, what was that show on, was it Jack of All Trades or something like that? No, wasn't Jack of All Trades. Briscoe County Jr.
Briscoe County Jr.
Right, so
Which
I'm
I
watching.
almost thought was a remake of Wow Wow West the way it was being.
There were a lot of elements that were very, very similar. So I go, and let's face it, I had seen the original Wild Wild West, so I was like, okay, I think I'm going to like this. And like I said, through most of the movie, it was like, and I was trying to like it, but by the time they get to the end with the friggin' giant electric spider, I was like, fuck this shit. The hell is this crap?
Okay, I want to tell you my own personal story about Wild Wild West. So here's what happens. I'm visiting a friend in Texas, right? And I'm laid over in Houston waiting for a bus to go to Dallas, right? So I'm in the station in Houston, or maybe this is when I was going back. Oh, no, I think it's when I was going to them. And they have playing in the VCR Batman and Robin. You know the one I'm talking about?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
And I'm watching it, and I'm like, I saw this in the theater, and it was terrible. And I know some people love it. Good on you. I cannot sit through it all in one sitting. That's how much I hate Batman and Robin. Batman and Robin finally ends. The lady who runs the bus station takes the VHS tape out. She puts another VHS tape in, and it's Wild Wild West. And then, not long after the movie starts, my bus shows up, and I thanked heaven and got on the bus and got out of there. So I saw the very beginning of it. I'm like, okay, good.
God, yeah.
I get to go now. What do you think?
Yikes.
Can you imagine that double feature, huh?
Okay, so Jesse says it was a fun watch for him as a kid in the 90s. And I meet with one of the actresses who came out of this movie, and she was super nice. Also, to my surprise, she came out she came out in Playboy. Okay,
that's
cool. That's very enduring quality. Sure.
I'm really missing the 90s now, especially the late 90s where everything went to shit. I'm sorry. I'll be good on this stream. Just,
Yep.
Yeah. Just, I mean, granted, we had Wild Wild West in the 90s, but hey, at least you get to see one of the actresses in Playboy, right? So it's not all bad. See, there's a silver lining. Even with the bad movies, there's a silver lining back then, see? It's just ridiculous. Just, okay, yeah, anyway. 90s equals naked women, yes, and... I don't know what happened. Okay, moving on. Speaking of naked women, American Pie.
Well, not really.
Well, there's some topless. Shannon Elizabeth
was there?
Was in this, yes. Shannon Elizabeth is in this, yes.
Okay.
Yes. This was an R-rated. This
I was going to say, I remember somebody. Well, maybe it was the dude. Maybe it wasn't the chick with the whipped cream and cherries over the chest and whatnot.
Maybe. I'm trying to recall that. I saw it once in the theater. I've seen this. Allison Hannigan was in it. It actually has Tara Reid.
Oh, and she had that ongoing joke about band camp and whatnot,
There's Tara Reid underneath. Remember her?
Yes. She was able to stay sober long enough to get her lines out. That was good.
Who the heck? There's Chris Klein. I forgot these other two. That one guy was in the Dukes of Hazzard movie.
I blocked out the Dukes of Hazzard movie.
Anyway, American Pie. And who was the lead actor in this? It's like a lot of these actors.
I don't remember these kids. I don't remember their names. And the guy from SCTV, what was his name? Eugene Levy.
Eugene Levy, yeah. So I guess he
plays the father. Yeah,
he does. Actually, I will say this. I remember at the time, even were making a point that they actually gave this movie thumbs up, and they were making a point that Eugene Levy is actually rather being sensitive to his son instead of scolding his son about the thing with the pie. No, you just.
It is an incredibly embarrassing situation. He's like, we're gonna deal with this.
Mina Sorvino was in this, yeah.
Mira Sorvino was in it?
What? Yes, Mina Savari. Not Mina.
Oh, okay.
Mina Savari.
Oh, yeah. She was the blonde. Yeah. And,
Okay.
Jason Biggs was the one you were trying to remember.
Biggs,
the
that's
kids.
what I'm
Yeah,
thinking.
yeah.
Yes. What happened to Jason Biggs?
I don't know.
He
And Sean William Scott is the one you were thinking of
Sean
from
William Scott, who was on the
Dukes of
third
Hazzard.
season of Lethal Weapon after they fired the other actor.
I didn't know there was a series.
There was a Lethal Weapon series, yes. Damon Wayans was I think the Murtaugh character on that. I watched Mary, didn't hate it, but I wasn't that impressed. Yeah, that's sort of how I am with the Geek Flag. I mean, I'm not going to pick on the movie, but yeah, I don't know. I almost felt it was trying to be like a Porky style movie, like a modern, because this was an R-rated thing. Yeah, but
Natasha Lyonne. Yeah.
Okay.
What she
I don't know.
what was she in? She was in something else.
Who?
She was in Orange is the New Black. Right.
Yes. So there's American Pie.
But I'm a cheerleader. She has a thing for playing lesbians after this movie, didn't she? Huh.
Are we ready to move on to the big one?
Well, wait a minute. I hated my cousin for showing me the American Pie movies. I could never eat pie for 2 damn years because of these movies.
You know, I'm sorry.
I never thought about that.
You know what? Now you got that stuck in my head. Thank you.
No. See, I was old enough to look at this and go, what? You know, and the other thing, too, is like, I know how hot pie is coming out of the oven. How did he not, burn the thing off, for crying out loud? Oh, my God.
Now I'm thinking of that scene in There's Something About Mary, but we won't go there.
Oh, yeah.
That was before this.
That was gross, too, yeah.
All right, the Blair Witch Project, but this was a big one. This was the big one.
Yeah, it was.
This
it
was
really
the first, I think, instance of really successful internet marketing.
So this movie came at the perfect time. It was if it had come out sooner or it had come out later, it would not have worked. So the only reason people were going to see it was because of the internet viral marketing. They had websites that were set up and ways to get you to go find these websites and whatnot. And it was implied that all of this was real, based on a real legend, and so on and so forth. It almost came off as like an early analog horror. Okay, so you need the internet for that kind of marketing to work, right?
Yeah.
Now, you go see the movie. Well, I don't want to steal your thunder here, Boomer. What did you think of the movie when you saw it?
Okay, people are yelling about this in the chat. People were yelling at it back in '99. Maybe you were too if you saw it back in '99. I have heard this movie works a lot better, and they included this on the DVD. If you watch the Sci-Fi Channel hour-long documentary that was on the Sci-Fi Channel called "The Curse of the Blair Witch," which goes more into the history. It's more like a regular type documentary, and
I've got a DVD collection that includes that.
And then you watch the movie. If you watch them in tandem, if you watch the sci-fi documentary first and then watch this movie, I think it's better. People, there's gonna be some of the stuff that say, I did that. It still sucks. Okay,
so that's a big. This is so. Let me. So before I address all the hate that this movie's getting, and I can kind of explain, what is it? C. Samuel liked it, and
I like it too.
And Mr. Londell says I don't get what people saw in it. I will explain in just a second. It goes to exactly what Boomer was talking about. But before we do that, I want to finish my point about. So the viral marketing is what launched it to the success that it had, right? But this was still early enough in the internet where you didn't have like YouTube, and you did have them, they did exist, but you didn't have this big preponderance of people that you follow now doing reviews of it, talking about it, it's showing up in your feed and you finding out from 5, 10, 15 different people, my God, this thing was so boring, it never got scary, whatever, all the things you're thinking, right? So you got the viral marketing that makes it opening week do really well. You don't have people, doing reviews that are killing it. And because it did so well, you think, well, everyone's going to see it, maybe I should go check it out. So the movie ends up having greater legs than you would have expected it to. If this movie had come out now, yeah, it would have been dead after the first week. There's no doubt about it.
I want to talk about this because there are some people in this chat that like this movie, and that's fine.
This sums it up. The, in quotes, dumb and boring movie that made $100 million. Okay. Yeah.
I want to say I did like this movie. I'm not a hater. There are plenty of people out there that hate this movie. You're in fine company if you hate this movie. But I remember this was taught in a literature class I took once in college by a very smart professor, and she thought it was the best instance of the paranormal put to film.
Yes.
Like, this is what it would feel like.
And I see why they would say that. Yeah. So let me let me make the defense real quick.
Yes.
Number one, I'm not saying that anything you guys are saying is invalid. In fact,
I think you're allowed to love or hate this movie. That's what I'm going to say.
No. I'm going to say you're allowed to do both at the same time. And here's why. Okay? So everything you guys are saying is a perfectly rational feeling after you've watched the movie once. I don't think this movie has any rewatchability to it. Okay? Because of all the things these guys are saying. But when I saw it after I saw all the internet, I knew all the lore, I knew all the, stuff about the and the Curse of the Blair Witch. I had seen that too. So then when I go and see Blair Witch, remember, you never know. You're expecting jump scares. You're expecting, all kinds of things. But you also realize that they're doing it in the style of found footage. Again, found footage this wasn't the first found footage film, but you hadn't seen anything like this in a long time. It had its niche. It really, let's face it, found footage films kind of took off after this.
Yes.
And there's an art to it. There is an art to it.
Yeah.
I don't think this one quite got it. Unless you go for hyper-realism. I mean, they really treated it like it was found footage. Therefore, it really was like found footage.
They had to... I think the actors didn't full know on what was going to happen in the scenes when they were shooting it. Like, they really was... There was a lot of
improv.
There was a lot of method acting in this.
There was, because they did things behind the scenes to scare these people, and those were real reactions. When you heard someone... crying or scared or screaming or whatever, that was real. Now, they were very clever in the way they cut it, because if they hadn't cut it right when they did, they would have been breaking character, they would have been showing what they were afraid of, or, you son of a bit, whatever. They wanted to keep the mystery alive.
The characters in this movie, especially Heather,
yes,
are very obnoxious, but think about the guts it takes it, because usually you make characters likable. Like, you would never have a character like Heather in a modern movie.
Right, exactly.
That the whole audience hates. They hate this woman. They would be terrified to make a character.
And the other thing is...
Well, actually, they wouldn't be, but they would say you have to think she's the hero.
The other element is... There were people who left this movie thinking that it was real found footage and saying, "Oh my God, what happened to these people?" And I remember, I can't remember if I read I think it was I saw an interview with them, and they were like, "Yeah, there were people that actually thought, we were dead." And we're like, "Hi, I'm right here. I'm just."
No, and then she started showing up on Steak and Shake commercials. Remember
right.
Is that the actress's name? Yeah.
Well, and that's the other problem too, because if people are thinking this is real, then you're not expecting to see the actress in anything else, and then you see her and you don't go, "Oh, that's that girl from Blair Witch." You go, "No, I've never seen her in anything before," and you have no synergy with this very successful movie you were in.
Yeah, well, how often do you see somebody with like snot coming out?
That was pretty disgusting.
It was black and white and close up.
It was very realistic. I mean, it was the thing about not having food and being exhausted and stuff was really, really real.
Huh? Oh, go on. I interrupt. I'm sorry.
No, you're going to bring up...
I was going to say, Jesse Garado says, "Oh my goodness, Troy, did you know they made a Scooby-Doo version of the Blair Witch Project?"
They didn't. It was a fan-made
No, it was on the Cartoon Network.
Oh, okay, it was Cartoon Network.
It was like little.
So it
clips,
wasn't.
and they strung them together. You can watch the whole thing on YouTube.
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I thought it was a fan thing. If it was, Cartoon Network, I don't think it was Hanna-Barbera though. It was the guys from
People behind this, but they had the actual voice actors doing it.
Oh, sure.
And it was
Sure. It was a gag thing though, is what it was.
It's like, oh yeah, she's seen this old lady says, "Get away! I've seen the Blair Witch or the whatever." And he says, "Yeah, well, I bet she hasn't seen a dentist lately because she had like missing teeth." It was like,
now let me ask this, guys. Those of you that saw the Blair Witch and hated it, how many of you saw the sequel?
Oh boy.
The sequel was much more of a more traditional type of horror film. They dropped the whole trying to make you believe that it's real kind of thing, and they kind of pivoted more into the lore behind the Blair Witch.
I understood,
which makes it far more interesting.
The director's intent with that. He said that he wanted to make the Blair Witch movie be a thing that existed in this movie sequels universe, but it was like, I think it was still considered like the fake documentary in this movie. But then people will go on tours in this area and they run this other girl, which I thought was an interesting take. I do remember one scene with I think there's a Wiccan girl and a Goth girl, and the Wiccan girl's talking about how much she loves nature, and the Goth girl's like, "No, I hate nature." And it was funny because you think these two would be similar, but no, they're not, because it's a completely different thing to be a Goth or a Wiccan, right? So I don't know.
And there was some great lore to the second movie too. There's scenes that that were filmed, kind of like what they do in Twin Peaks, where they film things backwards, and they're played forwards, but they've got that jerkiness. Well, there were things about, there were scenes in Blair Witch 2 that were done that way, and you're supposed to be aware of that. So you're supposed to think about things in reverse. You're supposed to think about things like time not being linear in the second movie. Some great little mental puzzles to work through in the second one. I think a lot of it goes over a lot of people's heads, basically because after seeing it, they're like, I'm not going to rewatch this movie. And it's like, the second one might be worth taking another look at.
I didn't like the third one, says deleted scenes. Did you see? I don't even know if I even called.
Wait, there was a third one?
There was like another proposed sequel to Blair Witch made a few years back, which was another documentary style.
I did not see that.
It's not good.
I know, but you know how I am. I have to get it to complete the collection.
The only interesting about it is that, you know how like something happens with the Blair Witch every so and so years? Well, they did it on the anniversary when something else should have happened.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
In modern times. And what was interesting about this movie is they had drone cameras in it too, so they could fly it up above the woods, which I thought was kind of interesting. But that was about where the interesting stuff ends. But anyway, I think we've gotten the chat heated enough. But it's like I said, it is.
No, look, guys, I am not trying to convince anyone that they were wrong or that they should go back and rewatch it. I'm just saying,
it is a polarizing movie.
They're and the other thing too is, all throughout the movie, I was kind of on the edge of my seat, expecting something to happen. The problem is, it never does. And then that ending's like, wait, this is the friggin' ending? That's it? What was that?
I assume they all got killed. That's the ending.
Yeah, but like, what's this whole thing about him standing in the corner? It wasn't until, you
watched the documentary about the
documentary and get all the lore. And there's a lot more there.
There's a book about the lore, too, and everything.
Yeah.
Blair Witch was an epistolary story like the Dracula novel used character. Yes, it was. You're right. And that's why I think maybe with this, the movie should be considered part of it, and you should go and watch the other documentary and read the other lore, and maybe even check out the old websites if they're up, and that'll help you with this. Anyway, last one for here, Lake Placid. I've not seen this.
That's the one about like a giant alligator or some crap like that, right?
Was it good?
I don't even remember. I just happen to know what it's about. That doesn't mean I actually watched it.
The only thing I seem to recall...
you know who probably did see this was Big Al, though. We'd have to ask him about it. I'll bet you.
Was David E. Kelly involved in this? The guy that was responsible for Doogie Howser, M.D. and Ally McBeal?
I don't know.
I thought I had read somewhere that he was at the time. That's why I was thinking about watching it. But anyway, maybe we should end it with Blair Witch. That might have been a good cap for the first half.
Yeah, so guys, we're gonna. Was that your last one on this slide?
That's the last one on this slide. I'm now going to remove it.
Yeah, Lake Placid was kind of a over the hill kind of, but that's okay. So guys, what we're going to do is we are going to be shutting it down here on my YouTube channel. If you're watching on Netter's channel, if you're watching on
Gotta go to Rumble.
Boomer's channel, you're good. But let me if I don't
Go
think
to
there's
Rumble.
anyone. There's
It's
nobody.
better on Rumble. Everything's better on Rumble.
Everything. It is. It kind of
Hear
is.
that, YouTube?
I actually
Overlord?
get paid for you watching it on Rumble. So that's so this is where we're gonna be. Let me drop that. Let me pin this to the top in case somebody comes in the next hour.
Oh my
or so.
goodness! I clicked on your name and I see Friday Night Last Call, Hurricane Ian debriefing. Please, that's the horror movie for me.
That is
was
so
horror
funny.
real life.
That is
Oh,
so
my
funny.
goodness.
Okay, so give me just a second here. I want to just make sure I'm caught up on Rumble.
With the very
Hello,
talented-
the chat. I'm seeing Connie Cleary's already over there. So, guys, thanks so much. I mean, you don't have to, but I would appreciate it if you want to see us to the end of the show. We've got a few more movies to go
Eyes
through.
Wide Shut coming next.
Yeah, we got some good ones. We're gonna be doing some real digging in there. So come on, join us over on Rumble. I just dropped the link, and we'll just keep going, okay? And I'm gonna close this, and then I'll BS for a little bit before we get back into it. Give you guys all a chance to come on over, okay? So we'll see you on the other side. And how do I close this? I do the drop down. Bye bye, YouTube.
Got rid of Netter.
You're right. And remove. And
While you're doing that,
save
let me get my
those
slides
changes.
ready.
And there we go. Netter, where'd you go?
I don't know. I suddenly went deaf. I can't hear anything. Did I get kicked
You
off
fell
StreamYard?
out of StreamYard.
It's David Borealis. That's what's doing it.
It's the David Borealis. that's yeah. No, come back into
I'm trying.
to the you.
It's like just when you said you're going over to Rumble.
Let's see. The
went
stream
silent.
ended on YouTube, and I'm seeing it recommending something about the Wicked Witch of the West, like 4 or 5 Fallout videos, and
Some guy crying.
some guy crying, and 60 most hated actresses with
Big boobs.
two buxom ladies. That's obviously clickbait.
This was they were listening to our talk about the Blair Witch Project. That's where the witch and the annoying actresses
It
came.
should be in the back now.
There you go.
I don't
There
pick
you
on
go.
Heather Donahue. I think she did a good job in that movie. Again,
Oh, yeah.
like I said, it's polarizing.
And when you hear it, I mean, I think the real horror story was the behind the scenes on that. What those actors
I'll
had
be
to
honest
deal
with you, that might be the movie they should do, is a movie about the making of the Blair Witch Project.
Almost, yeah. I mean, and yeah, just keep it right in the same. Yeah. Let's see here. Real quick, Jesse was saying Lake Placid was a good movie. The animatronic. Oh, I didn't realize it was animatronic. Crocodile was so realistic. I didn't realize. I guess I assumed it was like CG or something like that. So, let's see. Sorry, Troy. Once again, I gotta go. Oh, no worries, Nate. That's cool. Take care. Thanks for hanging out with us. I will have to. Yeah, you could always catch the Rumble stream will still be up tomorrow. You can always leave a comment down below instead of in the live chat. That works. So saying hi to, of course, Connie Cleary's over there, and Samuel Proctor. Deleted scenes. Netter's over there too, even though she's on her own stream right now. JPRPH1, hello, been here on my TV from the start. Okay, thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. Watching the chat on YouTube. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Age of Boomer. What is that thumbnail? What is
I don't
it?
even remember.
Oh, okay. That's funny. Curtis
What the heck
Selby.
is that now? Now I want to look at it. Okay.
I may not finish, but I
it was
want
pertinent.
to.
I just don't remember.
Oh, thanks, Curtis. Thank you so much. And howdy to everyone. Okay, great. Now, it says I got 17 watching. I don't know if that's really true, but that's okay. We're going to just...
let's just get right to it.
We're going to keep it going. Yeah.
Okay, I got the B up there, so you can load that one up whenever you want.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I did.
Right there. There we go.
Part 2.
Yeah, this is part 2, so here we go. Eyes
Stanley
Wide
Kubrick.
Shut. Final movie of the great Stanley Kubrick.
Yes.
Came out July 16th. I remember when I saw this in the theaters. The air conditioning wasn't working in the theater it was being shown in. They asked, do you still want to see it? I said, you know what? Yes. So I saw it in an air-conditioned theater at
I think
night
I'd have been
in
sweating
July.
even if the air conditioning was on.
Oh, yeah. There's some scenes in this movie.
There's some boobage. There's a lot of boobage, yes.
None from Nicole Kidman, if that's what you're wanting. Okay. At least
Oh, there's other movies for that.
unless she was one of the women in the mask. I know.
Oh yeah, she was. There's the scene where she's standing in the mirror, her husband's still in bed, and she's all buck-ass naked.
I don't know. Well, maybe she was. I don't recall. I've not seen this since I saw it in the theater. This was very controversial when it came out because Kubrick had died after he made this, and they were going to shoot it, and then they censored a scene, part of an orgy scene in the one scene, and they censored it, and people were furious because Kubrick was dead. He didn't okay this.
Yeah,
and
I get that.
I think now you can find it unreleased on DVD, but it's kind of funny because it's finding it on DVD with the restored scene is tricky because some of them have it, some of them don't.
And I'll bet you that it's one of those things where the scene, I'll bet it's like not terribly consequential. It's just
it probably
offensive.
is. No,
it's offensive. It's more offensive to remove it when the director has no say because he died than to leave the damn thing in.
I'll try to explain. This was back in '99. This was when AOL had gotten involved with Time Warner. I don't know if they bought Time Warner or they were partners, and I think they were dictating a lot of stuff for content-wise. I bet this was them. This was... I mean, we're living in a far more censorious time now than we were living back then, but there was inklings of it in '99. I mean,
this is the weirdest
Tipper
pendulum.
Gore, John McCain, they were all...
Yeah, this is the weirdest pendulum swing I've ever seen because it used to be the far right, religious right, that wanted to censor everything. And the liberals were all, no, freedom of expression, blah, 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 blah. Now it's friggin' swung all the way over the loony lefties. The cultural Marxists want to censor everything. And the righties are going, no, free speech, Yeah, no, it probably didn't raise to the Caligula level. It wasn't Penthouse Cinema or whatever.
But I want to say this is about a married couple. I think they even have kids, don't they? But I guess they're struggling in certain areas of their marriage. And then I think Tom Cruise, he discovers a secret society.
Yep.
Where they do wear masks and not much else.
Yep.
And then
But you realize that this is the kind of thing where the people that are involved are all these rich social climbing elitist type people.
You never get to see their faces, right? I mean, except maybe the face of one of them, like at the end, like when he gives them a warning. But like I think he sneaks into this and he wasn't supposed to be there, and they found out that he's not one of them. And then I think a woman stands forth and decides to, in her nakedness says, no, don't kill him. But then, like, I think she ends up dead the next day, and it's just this weird. It's a thriller. It's very creepy. I need to rewatch it, to be honest with you. It's been a while.
I'll tell you what.
I was annoyed by the censored scene.
This movie rings very differently now than it did then.
Probably.
Just going to say that in 2024, you watch this movie and you start going,
yep.
Yeah, this doesn't feel quite as unrealistic as I thought it did.
And you wonder, too, about maybe there's
But
probably...
we talk about Epstein's Island and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, exactly.
So I'm wondering if Kubrick was tapped into something that he knew about.
I would not be surprised. Yeah.
It's funny how he died before this movie came out, too. It was probably old age, right? But I'm just
could have been. He wasn't a terribly fit, skinny guy either, so,
He, I have to say...
I'm sorry, Pootie, I don't usually pick on people for typos, but this one was funny. It's about singers. I mean, swingers. That's just... you can't plan a joke like that.
Do
That
a
was
reverse
good.
thing. I don't know. This was a big deal when it came out because it was Kubrick's last movie, and I think it was around this time people actually started saying, Kubrick, is he possibly the greatest director who ever lived? I won't argue that point. He was a perfectionist. I will say this about him.
I mean, he was knucking futz, but I almost feel like that's necessary for that level of genius, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there are, you know, you can watch The Shining and you can enjoy it. It's what, a 2-hour movie or something like that, right? There is like 750 hours of YouTube videos analyzing it and breaking it down and symbolism and, you know, blah, blah, blah. And who knows? I mean, let's face it, we do the same thing with Twin Peaks on Tuesdays, right?
Yeah.
But, you know, it's if someone does something that good that it inspires a whole bunch of people to make analysis films about them, the guy's doing something right, you know? Because if you can go to... You guys were all complaining about Blair Witch, right? Well, it was a 2-hour movie and you can forget about it. But when you go and you see a 2-hour movie and you're still thinking about it days and days and days later, and then you watch a behind the scenes, and then you watch deleted scenes, and then you watch you know, an analysis film, and then another analysis film, and you think about it, you think about it, you think about it, you got more than your $10 worth when you saw that movie. You know,
mm-hmm.
that's, and am I suggesting that, you know, that Eyes Wide Shut is that level? I don't think there's a lot of hidden symbolism there. I think it's pretty much spot on. But how much it relates to the real world, that might be worth an interesting discussion. Real quick, let me say hi to Josh's Cool 40. Welcome. So good to see you, my friend.
Right. But, yeah.
Cranky Oldfeller. Genius is, by its very nature, almost impossible to differentiate from Knuck and Fuss. I like that he even typed out Knuck and Fuss. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's exactly true. Yeah, Kubrick, and from what I've heard, kind of an asshole too. But again, I kind of feel like that goes with the territory too a little bit, right?
Cruise and Kidman were out really promoting this movie. Cruise was very serious about being in a Kubrick movie. This was a big
okay. Now, Josh, you're scrambling my brain here. I did not know that, but yeah. Oh, okay. Logical Spock. Okay, cool. No, that's fine. Yeah, that is part of the problem, right? So I see Pie Boy 11, and I'm like, Connie. That's Connie. I got to remember that's Connie. You know, I mean, it's
Gotcha.
Yeah. That's fine.
Anything left to say about Eyes Wide Shut?
No,
Paradise Lost. I think this had a theatrical release. I know it was a big thing on HBO. It was HBO Films. This was a documentary about a murder case that happened, where these 3 kids were murdered, like almost ritualistically, and then these 3 teen boys that were into, like, I guess, like the heavy metal music, and maybe one of them was reading Aleister Crowley, and suddenly it became like a witch hunt. They thought these kids were into Satanism, and they did it. And then as you watch the documentary, you're wondering, well, did they really do it, or was it these other people? It was I think what was unprecedented about this is that the documentary filmmaker had a lot of access to both prosecution and defense files and people interviewed and stuff. So it's a fascinating documentary. You ever see it? No?
I didn't. I am kind of curious, but now I want to know if Deleted Scenes is serious or not.
I'm wondering if he is, actually.
Could very well be.
Good point. Maybe it was the same guy. I don't know. Yeah, they were into Metallica. See, that means they're into Satan. You know.
And that's I'll tell you what, that tagline, witchcraft or witch hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this is all that I've been saying, guys, about all these big cases that we've been talking about for weeks. Whether it's what's his name from American Beauty that we're going to be talking about in a minute. Oh, come on, help me out. He's just gone back to court again in the UK.
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, whether it's Kevin Spacey or whether it's Weinstein or whether it's Trump or whether it's anyone else who's being brought up on charges, right? There's what you think you know, and then there's the truth, right? Well, there's what you think you know, there's what you can prove, and there's the truth. And they're not always the same thing. And it's really sad that I see so many things where the narrative looks right, so we believe it, therefore they're guilty. And then, like, sometimes years later, you go, oh, wait, they weren't guilty. Oops.
Yeah.
Our bad. Well, yeah, you've just, screwed somebody's life. So, Yeah, and this is what gets me, Pootie. And this is a recurring theme, too. They win their criminal cases, which means they weren't able to prove that they were guilty. Sorry, if you're not guilty, you're not guilty. But now we are weaponizing civil cases to sue people that aren't guilty of anything to cough up money. This is lawfare, and I have a real problem with it. I really feel like if you can't prove that they did something, you can't sue them for it. That's the way I feel it should be.
See, there is what you know you don't know, and what you don't know you don't know. Oh, okay.
Okay, if you follow that, he's 100%
Makes
right.
sense. You gotta pay attention, though.
You gotta pay attention, but he's 100% right. Yes.
Deep Blue Sea. Do you know what this is? It looks like.
Yes. Yes.
Good?
No.
Okay.
I mean, Big Al would probably enjoy it. I mean, it's not Ouija Shark. I mean, it's, yeah, this one was the one, if I'm remembering this correctly, this was the one where, yeah, bigger, smarter, yeah, they were CG sharks that were genetically modified or whatever, and
with freaking laser beams attached, right?
They might as well have had, yes. Okay, you know what? You're right. Whoop! It jumped on me. Nate's
was Samuel
right.
Jackson in this movie?
Samuel Jackson getting eaten by a shark. You're right.
I kept saying, where was Samuel Jackson this year?
So think about.
Here we go. He's in this. Okay.
Remember the scene in Jaws where the ship captain gets eaten? The back of the boat's getting eaten and he slides into his mouth. That's basically what happens to Samuel L. Jackson. It's the same scene. Except it's Samuel L. Jackson instead of...
Was he wearing sunglasses and the shark spits the sunglasses out?
That would have been cool, but no, that was not, yeah.
Sorry. Okay, now I need to watch this movie.
Yeah, it was kind of like a precursor to the Meg. Yeah, that's kind of what this is. This one should have just been a sci-fi original is what it should have been. Yeah.
Okay. So, time to move on. Dick with Kirsten Dunst.
I don't know Dick. Yeah.
Michelle Williams. This was a comedic version of the whole Watergate thing.
Interesting. I might enjoy.
It's kind of funny,
out
actually. I'll say this because they become good friends. Like I think they end up stumbling in there, and like they end up becoming friends with Richard Nixon in the movie.
Okay.
But then they end up turning on him later on in the movie. But there's funny because like they see Checkers, right?
Uh-huh.
And like I think they had some recording on Nixon or something. Like I don't know how they got this recording. Like you said, oh, Checkers is like effing dog piece of shit, and I think you hear him kicking Checkers. Like they make Nixon even worse in the movie. It was funny. I don't know. I enjoyed it.
I might have to check it out.
I was at the time a fan of both of these actresses. I'll admit. So I was more of a Jen than a Joey guy with Dawson's Creek. You didn't watch Dawson's Creek. Never
I did watch. I don't remember the character names though. That's the problem. Yeah, I was
into
and
Kirsten.
I was into the brunette, and then I liked her in Batman, and then they recast her with the secretary, which was just weird to me.
Yes.
And you knew what I was talking about. Okay.
Oh, that's a mind trip, that movie.
Isn't it? Isn't it?
Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Maggie Gyllenhaal, right.
James Spader, I think, was the guy that she's the secretary for.
Yes. Anyway, that movie is it's an interesting one.
That's the real 50 Shades of Grey, is that movie.
It was better than 50 Shades of Grey, that's for damn sure. That's for damn sure.
Okay, here's the movie that the Blair Witch haters flock to.
Brett says I'm late like times 2. Yes. I mean,
okay, we're not done.
In fairness, that's okay. You could always do the rewind thing. Watch VOD. Not a big deal. But glad you're here now. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It was funny. I do remember one scene from Dick where, like, she's, why are they shredding all that paper? Says, oh, I'm really into paper mache. Oh, I love that too. It's just, I don't know. It's a funny movie. It doesn't take itself too seriously. Like, it's again.
So I should not go into this expecting like a real faithful history of Watergate and stuff like that.
Maybe it's more realistic than All the President's Men. I don't know.
Maybe.
Everything is better than 50 Shades of Grey. I don't know though. Dakota Johnson. Okay. Never mind. I'm the only one, I guess. Everyone's focused on Sydney Sweeney now. But
I mean,
Sixth Sense.
Everything is better than 50 Shades
That's
of
what
Grey.
I was saying.
I can guarantee you we will not be doing a Monday night at the movies 50 Shades of Grey double
Plus,
feature.
you have Sylvie
That
Christie
will not
movies
be
to
it.
watch still.
It is, in fact, it's far more likely I will end up watching the Twilight movies before we do 50 Shades of Grey.
You can count me out of those two.
Well,
anyway,
no, I won't.
Here was welcome.
Welcome, Joe's Atmosphere.
Okay.
Thanks so much for being
So
here.
we ended on YouTube talking about the Blair Witch.
Right.
This was the movie when it came out this summer that all the Blair Witch haters say, no, see, it's not that we hate stuff about ghosts and stuff. This is the movie you go see, not Blair Witch. Much better than Blair Witch.
True, that's not wrong. You're not wrong there.
People were singing this. M. Night Shyamalan, he's the new Spielberg, the new Hitchcock. It was a big deal.
So whereas I said the Blair Witch movie didn't have any rewatchability to it, The Sixth Sense has a little, but not much. That's the problem. If you rewatch this movie, you start analyzing it.
There's a twist at the end.
Yeah.
There's a lot of twists during this movie, too.
You can rewatch it once, knowing the twist, and go, oh,
Okay.
And the second time through, the third time through, you're going to start analyzing it. You're going to start things wrong with it. And you're going to start overthinking it, and you're like, wait a minute. So I'm just saying,
I'll say this, though. I guess you can't really spoil a movie that's 25 years old at this point, right?
Yeah.
But I do remember the one scene in it when he asks, I see dead people. When do you see them? And he says, all the time. That was the chilling moment.
Sums it up. And Curtis, I'm sorry. I'm kind of bringing this up at your expense. My ex-girlfriend loved 50 Shades. I was not impressed. Yeah. I think Netter would support me on this if I say, if you're dating a girl that really likes 50 Shades of Grey, no, she's probably not the one. Find someone else. Just move on. Dodge that bullet there.
Yeah.
I mean, I am not shaming anyone that's into kinks or anything like that, but 50 Shades of Grey is not the way you want to express that.
And the fact that your mother wanted a copy of it.
I know. Like, I'm still traumatized by that.
That alone just gives me the ick.
Someday I'm going to have to clean up her house after she passes, and I'm going to find those DVDs, and I'll be like, oh, jeez.
Look, you can donate them to your local public library. Anyway.
No, I will spare my local public library, Wait, is that a movie that you could get from the library you work at?
I don't know. Maybe.
No, don't look. Forget I broke. I don't need an answer to that question. Don't worry about it.
Okay, Sixth Sense, though, good thriller, scary, spooky movie. Toni Collette, this is sort of where she got her big start, was in this movie.
Yeah.
British actress, but played a good American.
I did not know that she was a Brit from
Bruce Willis in this, and Haley Joel Osment was in this. Yes, so the young actor. It's another one of these young actors that kind of fell off when he got older. But I mean, this was a big thing. People like this.
And it's a cultural touchstone too. You really should see at least once watch Sixth Sense. Hey. And if you happen to be one of those ones that don't know the ending, good on you.
Joe's Atmosphere. I like the Blair Witch. I know there was a a big
Yeah,
to-do.
there's a number of people here that did. I think we've come to the conclusion that you
People
either
are
love it or
evenly
hate it. There's
split.
probably no
People
one
are
in
even split
between.
on this. That's why let's not get this
Actually,
off.
you either love it, you hate it, or you haven't seen it. So that's the three possibilities, I think. The Iron Giant. My gosh, man, this is an incredible film. Incredible.
Yeah, the Iron Giant. It came from outer space.
Yeah, it was. This wasn't based on anything, right? It was just an original film.
I think it might have been based on a book.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, this was an original animated movie, traditional animation. Vin Diesel as the voice of the Iron Giant.
I know. Between this and Groot, he's absolutely one of my favorite voice actors now at this point.
Yeah. But Brad Bird directed this. Good little nod to like 1950s sci-fi movies. It's interesting. Warner Brothers did a reissue of this movie a few years ago with a couple of
I
added
didn't know
scenes.
Oh, really?
You never see that happen with an animated movie, but they did it with this one. There's like a special edition of this you can get on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
Yeah, I that sounds familiar because I remember them saying the original story was like didn't have a happy ending or something like that. I don't really remember.
Interesting.
But it definitely has that like 50s style, noir kind of, you could kind of see this story taking place, in the alternate world of like Fallout, which, would have had to have been in like the 50s, 60s type of,
I suppose,
era. Yeah.
The book was a 60s novel called The Iron Man. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well, I can understand why they changed the title then, because, you can't do that now.
Thomas Crown Affair remake with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo.
Rene Russo. Yeah, I think I saw this.
Who had a sunbathing scene in this? I'll say no more.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was probably the best scene in the whole movie. Again, I'm not big on remakes.
This
so
was a decent one, though.
It was
I think
okay.
it sort of followed the original. I think it tipped the hat to the original a bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, not bad. I mean, yeah. Master Thief. Okay. Pierce Brosnan was a big deal at the time.
Right.
Okay. Mystery Men. Here's our superhero movie.
This one is absolutely a... See, I didn't see it when it first came out. I didn't see it until much later.
I think I bought it on DVD. I don't know if I saw it in the theaters or not, but I think I did see it in the theaters. I think I did go to see
it.
This.
I
enjoyed it.
Let's face it. I mean, everyone in here was incredible in their own way. Even Janine Garofalo, who
with her bowling ball,
with her bowling ball. Yeah, I mean,
skull in the bowling ball.
It was. I've come to dislike her a great deal, but in this movie, she was brilliant.
Hank Azaria as the Blue Raja. Remember that? Paul Rubens was in this. I forgot he was in this.
Paul Rubens was the spleen with the directable farts. Who is the Invisible Guy? What I don't know the actor.
I forget. It's been a while since I've seen this. I should rewatch this. William H. Macy was in this.
Oh, William H. Macy was the shoveler. Yeah.
And Ben Stiller as Mr. Furious.
Mr. Ray, Mr. Furious, what it was exactly.
What I liked about his character in this, like remember he works.
Kel Mitchell played Invisible Boy. That one is okay. That one is kind of a brilliant character, right? Because really most of these guys, it's arguable whether or not they actually had any kind of superpowers, right? And the Invisible Boy, what's his whole shtick? I can turn invisible when nobody's looking at me.
Yes.
So of course everyone's like, okay, this guy's full of crap, right? He's nuts.
But he's not, right?
Well, and here's the thing: it makes a lot more sense for you Doctor Who fans when you get this whole concept of the weeping angels, right? And the what was the silence, right? So this idea that if you are not, and it's going with that whole what is it? The uncertainty principle and whatnot, and the observation of something changes the changes the experience and whatnot.
Right, Schrodinger's cat or something.
So you realize it absolutely is true. He is able to get past the video cameras and the I-beams and whatnot. As long as nobody was physically looking at him, he really could turn invisible. Which, sorry, it's kind of a spoiler because that comes late in the movie, but he ends up being able to turn off the device or whatever because he's able to get past it because he can turn invisible. But of course, everyone then turns around and he's visible. But in order for him to have been invisible, he had to be naked. So now you got this poor black kid standing there all naked and whatnot. So I did it. Yes, you did. And Janine Garofalo's like, maybe you want to put on some pants if you want to continue fighting crime today.
It's funny. I'm sorry.
It is hysterical. It absolutely
and the
is.
villain, Casanova Frankenstein, played by Jeffrey Rush. Remember that?
Yes, exactly. Oh, and this whole Blue Raja, what's his thing? He throws. What is it? He throws spoons, right?
And other cutlery.
And forks and whatnot. And it turns out he actually has a skill for this. He is actually really good at, throwing a fork and having it stick in something just like throwing a knife. It's a weird talent, but he makes it work.
And then there's Greg Kinnear as Captain Amazing, which I won't get too much of him, but he's kind of a jerk. He has all the what is it? All the brands are sponsoring him, right?
Right.
Against crime.
Yeah, and there was this certain element. I mean, it kind of, it's like a precursor to The Boys, right? Where the big sponsored superhero you turn out isn't really all that good. It didn't
go as far as like The Boys because he's not a.
Yeah.
He does something very stupid because he figures he's losing creds, so he has to get one of his other old supervillains out of prison.
Right.
So then he sits on the as his alter ego, I guess, which is the reporter version,
right?
Like Clark Kent.
Like Clark Kent
says, "I think you should let him out of prison. I think he's reformed. So he can fight him again." It's like,
yeah, and Joe's atmosphere is definitely, he's saying,
I don't want to spoil too much. There's a funny scene. How he ends is funny because he's like,
I mean, it's a great movie. This is not, this is your, dark anti-hero comedy. This is what, all of you Snyder bots should go see this. This is your movie. Forget all of your, Batman versus Superman crap. This is the movie you should check out. Yep. Absolutely.
All right. Detroit Rock City. I've not seen this, but it's been on my docket to watch. I think this is about kids in the 70s and their misadventures trying to get to a Kiss concert. And Kiss is actually in the movie as themselves. Have you heard of this one?
Gosh, this one's kind of tickling my brain. I feel like I
should watch this. This might be a good watch. But yeah,
I either saw it or I was dimly aware of it. Yeah, I may have to revisit this one. Yeah,
there were tons of movies back then. See, people, and the thing you have to understand that blockbusters back in the day were not typically cost $100 million. Sometimes a movie would come out that cost $10 million, so it didn't have to make as much to make a profit. So some of these movies, these are big summer movies, but they weren't necessarily like Phantom Menace level budget. They were. Yeah. Phantom Menace, I think, was an expensive one, but yeah.
Good night, Joe's Atmosphere. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. Absolutely. Okay. Pleasure having you. You know what? Always catch the video on demand. No problem. You can.
Dudley Do Right.
I saw this. Okay,
was it good?
So. Yes, it was. So this is an example.
I didn't see this one. Okay.
This is an example of taking a cartoon, making a live action version of it, and it was actually pretty damn good. So, just for context, in case you don't know, Dudley Do Right was a cartoon that was in that whole Rocky and Bullwinkle lineup. Okay, It was that kind of very goofball, humorous type stuff. Dudley Do-Right, right? And so what do? They cast Brandon Fraser as Dudley Do-Right, keep it the same kind of goofy, off the wall kind of comedy, and it kind of really does work. I did like this movie.
Okay, well, I will look into it then.
You've never seen it at all?
No, I've seen George of the Jungle. That was pretty good.
If you like George, okay, you know what? That actually is. I'm going to have to remember this. This is a double feature.
Double feature. They both have Brendan Fraser, and they're both
because George of the Jungle and Dudley Do-Right, they're kind of spiritually related.
I never saw Dudley Do-Right.
Did you not? Okay,
no,
we'll have
I saw
to
George of the Jungle though.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. We'll have to do a double feature of those two. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I pretty much like everything I've seen Brandon Fraser in.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you.
Stir of Echoes, Kevin Bacon, kind of a ghost.
This one, I know I have this on DVD too. This was.
It's kind of creepy.
It was.
Like a mystery, but ghosts is involved. I think he gets
freaking don't remember the details.
I think he gets hypnotized and something goes wrong, so he's starting to see stuff that he shouldn't be able to see afterwards. And he's like a working class guy.
Right.
I thought it was a decent thriller, actually. I remember that.
And you know what? I think this is another potential double feature for a Monday night, because I just saw another movie with Kevin Bacon, kind of. Not ghost story, kind of time travel-y kind of thing. It's hard to explain, and I certainly wouldn't want to. Yeah, I think the two would go very, very well together. Absolutely.
All right, cool. But yeah, check this out if you have not seen it. It might be a good one around Halloween time, actually. But American Beauty.
Oh gosh, yeah, this one.
Here's the Kevin Spacey movie of the year.
Yeah,
this was
Kevin Spacey and Annette Bening. This one. You don't want to spoil this one. This is one of those movies that's got I don't want to say a trick ending, but it's a very shocking surprise ending, and it's very shocking but kind of brilliant.
Yes. And Mira Savari's in this as well. Thor Birch was also in this.
Yes.
Yeah. It's
yes.
It's yeah. Well, yeah. I think it was up for Best Picture, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was. It's kind of really effed up, but it's
not
one of those
necessarily wrong, right?
No, it's effed up in a it's necessary for the storytelling, and it's shocking in a very thought-provoking kind of way. It really is.
Yeah, so we're out of summer now. We're in the fall. Blue Streak with Martin Lawrence. I've not seen this. Have you? But Martin Lawrence was big back then, so.
It was a comedy. I was aware of it.
Pretending to be a cop, is that the comedy?
I honestly don't remember. No, he's a cop that's not. He's a cop that's not. Yeah. Okay. I did not see this one.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Then. Okay.
Yeah.
Murder Isn't Always a Crime. Double Jeopardy with Tommy Lee Jones and Ashley Judd.
Okay. I saw this movie. I remember liking this movie.
And
I don't remember much
the same way.
This movie. Yeah.
I hate to say this. This happens when you get all like, oh yeah, I remember liking that movie, and I'm like, did I see this? I think I did see this. I just don't remember it.
Yeah.
Okay, probably a legal thriller drama thing. Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 13th Warrior, which Big Al had watched.
Big Al just did a rewatch of that earlier today. Definitely a good movie. Based on, I believe this is
Eaters
the one.
of the Dead.
Eaters of the Dead by Michael Crichton. Read the book. Look, this is always going to be the case, especially with Michael Crichton books. The book is better, but this isn't a bad interpretation of it. I do recommend seeing it. It's pretty good. But if you watch it and really enjoy it, do yourself a favor and go ahead and read the book.
I like this though because it's got Vikings, but then you have I guess a gentleman.
This is probably the best hello I've seen in a long time. Mark says, "Here I are, hello."
Okay.
Hey, Mark, it's good to see you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just going to say though, it's interesting. A man from the Middle East and Vikings, and then you realize no, men from the Middle East did actually go and visit and observe the Vikings, and then bring records back.
And that's why we know a lot of what we do about the Vikings.
So there's your history right there.
This is one of those stories where there's a good deal of it's speculative, but it's spiritually very historically accurate.
I enjoy it.
It's the tone of the history really, really well.
I remember they keep trying to give him the Viking swords he can't carry, and then he makes his own sword, which is like a scimitar, right? So
yes, exactly. And they're like, yeah, okay, why not?
He likes it because it's light and you can strike fast with it.
And let me tell you something, Mark. If you have not seen The 13th Warrior or read the book Eaters of the Dead, you would really enjoy it. It's very Klingon, to be honest with you. That's the best way I could put it. It's definitely worth checking out.
The Vikings were brilliant with swordcraft, because I know, like in the East, they would fold metal. I think the Vikings, they would make metal strands and twist them all together, and it would make it very hard to break.
Yep.
Yeah. I've not seen this. Drive Me Crazy, Melissa Joan Hart vehicle. Probably another teen romantic comedy.
Yeah, this was another one that I was probably dimly aware of. I really did like Melissa Joan Hart.
Yep.
But yeah, if I saw this, it didn't really register. Yeah, sorry.
Gotcha. Audition. This was the. This I actually saw in recent years. This is a Japanese horror movie, terrifying in a good way. Have you ever heard of this movie, Takeshi Miike's Audition?
I would. Okay, cranky old feller. That is a great commentary. I don't know that much about Arms and Armor, so it makes me wonder if the book is. And again, it's
more
Michael
accurate
Crichton,
than the movie.
so it's probably pretty good.
Probably Hollywood not understand.
And Hollywood taking and like cutting some corners.
Hollywood doesn't necessarily understand modern arms.
No. That's kind of the problem. You make a great point there, Boomer, because there's a lot of films that I see from the perspective of firearms and stuff, and I'm like, oh god, no, that's not how this works. It's not how any of this works.
This movie's almost a warning about maybe if you're an older man, don't date a younger woman. But I don't want to get into it if you've not seen it. It just has to be seen to believe. It's a creepy one. And there's a fascinating scene where he's doing some investigation of this girl's relations, and I think she finds. I think the idea was she had an uncle that looked after her parents died, and he was abusive to her, not in a sexual way though, but he was just kind of mean or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I think when he's talking to him when he leaves, I think you realize later on though the guy he was talking to was a ghost that he was just talking to, and that's not even the most messed up part of this movie. Like there's realistic horror type in this too, but it's.
I may have to check this out. This actually sounds really good.
Creepy. It's worth checking out though. Yeah, I recommend it. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did. But yeah.
Oh, Mark, you know what? He's trying to push my buttons. I know he is. But yeah, no, absolutely. Whether it's the endless ammo or the way silencers work, don't even get me started.
Don't watch Commando then with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, I know.
Superstar. This was the SNL movie of the year. Did you see this?
Yes, I did. It was pretty funny, but it's one of those ones where it's like I'm not necessarily recommending it. It's funny. Yeah. So Will Ferrell too. Really? Yeah. This is that era. This was the last era of Saturday Night Live being at all funny. And it does not measure up to, the days of Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi or even Eddie Murphy. But it was meh. It was okay. And yes, this was based on a character that Gallagher played in. Oh. So this is, to some degree, it's like a spiritual successor to films like the Blues Brothers and a lot of other movies that were based on characters from SNL,
like Wayne's World
or Wayne's World. Yeah, that's another. Yeah, this is right in that era too. So
not as good.
It was pretty good, but not great. It's fun. If you want something funny, it's definitely better than a lot of the trash comedies we're seeing now. So. maybe go check it out. If you haven't seen it or know this character, the pose that she's doing is part of the shtick, and it's kind of gross, but a little bit funny. Yeah, check it out. Yeah. Yeah, okay, here's another one. Night at the Roxbury. That is same right in that kind of it's that kind of comedy. Yeah.
That was I think 98 maybe.
Probably.
Yeah, I think that was fall of 98. This was the one.
Again, this was the last hurrah for Saturday Night Live.
So they don't
Not great, but in retrospect, it's almost sad because they were okay, kind of good, made me laugh.
They don't do the movies anymore.
But yeah, it's no good anymore. Yeah, there's nothing coming out of Saturday Night Live that even
about
raises
SNL right
to
now
this level.
They can't do movies based on the
yeah.
The Cider House Rules.
Well, I read the book. I never saw this movie though. Was it any good?
I wonder if the movie's better than the book. It's funny because I was watching it. I saw it in the theaters. Michael Caine's performance really good in it. Tobey Maguire, not as much. I think I saw this because I knew he'd been cast as Spider-Man. So I was curious to see his acting chops. Charlize Theron's in this. Also, Paul Rudd is in this. That's weird. You have Spider-Man and Ant-Man in the same movie.
Good point. Yeah.
But this was like a serious drama about, I'm going to say abortion plays into the plot of this too. So if you're squeamish about that, maybe not. But I don't know. I remember watching these. I think this was after Gene Siskel
Deleted
died.
Scenes is saying it was good, and let's face it. If Deleted Scenes liked it, I probably would like it.
Roger Ebert didn't, though. He just didn't understand the point. He threw his hands up at the end. So I don't know.
That also makes me wonder if he was someone who had read the book too. So
Theron is much taller than Maguire. Yes, she is, but she has an affair with him regardless in this movie. But okay,
I'm not shaming anybody.
Yeah, but she was married. In the movie, at least. I don't know.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
Here's the big one, Fight Club. I saw this in the theater.
This is on my list. It is. I will get around to this.
I'll keep quiet, then I won't spoil it.
No. I know the spoiler at the end and whatnot, so it's not. It doesn't hurt me at all.
This was sort of a movie. I don't want to. If I'm tarnishing this, I apologize, but. One of the big themes in this, I think, is like a Gen X rebellion against baby boomer stuff. Like how all the baby boomer stuff kept being pushed on Gen X.
I get it. Okay, I can kind of see that.
What this is,
and Pootie, he says, I don't like Norton. I don't. I'm not going to try to defend him. He's you either love him or hate him type of thing. Well, no, I shouldn't say that. I like Norton, but I also won't defend him to people that don't like him because I do understand it. Let's face it, I thought he was great in his Incredible Hulk.
Yes,
I thought he was great in that.
Better than Ruffalo. I like Bonna and him. They were both good in that role.
Better than who?
Ruffalo. He's the one that goes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Russell Crowe, and I was like,
no, Mark Ruffalo.
Did he play the Hulk? I don't think so.
I don't think I have any Russell Crowe movies this year either.
No. Yeah, but
could be wrong. LA Confidential was a year prior.
And I also liked him as the villain in Alita Battle Angel.
Helena Bonham Carter, don't forget her. Yeah, I won't forget her. Tim Burton, man.
Oh my gosh, Helena Bonham Carter is in like freaking everything. Yeah, she's good. She really is good. I do.
Red Dragon probably a movie that I like.
She's not always the best casting in all of the movies she's done, but when she's cast appropriately, she's just spot on.
Yeah, it's funny. Putin's got to say Red Dragon. Hey, I liked the man. I liked the Bonna Hulk. I thought when they weren't going to use Norton, they just should have brought Eric Bana back. I don't know why they were going to. He'd already played him. I mean, I don't understand Hollywood. Bats.
Okay, I saw this movie. I remember zero about it though.
The Bats are going to get you. The Bats had a really lame commercial. I think Lou Diamond Phillips is in it.
I like Lou Diamond Phillips.
Okay,
That's probably why I saw this movie.
Okay.
But I don't remember anything about it. Is this like one of those, Nature Gone Wild? Like,
I think so. Yeah.
yeah,
It was released
yeah.
around Halloween time because of the bats. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a horror movie to a degree. It's kind of like, I'd almost have to say like The Birds,
Okay.
if I remember correctly, but I don't remember enough. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, Elliot seems saying it was fun. Yeah, so probably worth checking out. Pootie Bellatrix Lestrange.
Yeah, she was in that.
She was. I mean, that's not like her best role, but it was good. She was well cast in that.
She was good in it. Yeah. The Limey. I saw this on your poster. I was like, "Holy cow! I almost forgot this one." I don't know if you've seen this. You like Terrence Stamp?
I love Terrence Stamp. I don't think I have seen
a
movie.
You will love him in this.
I don't think. Well, I think that goes without saying. I cannot think of a movie that Terrence Stamp is in that I have seen that he wasn't great.
It's basically Terrence Stamp versus Peter Fonda.
Wow.
Peter Fonda is playing a character in this that some argue is his character from Easy Rider had the character survived and sold out as an older baby boomer. And Terrence Stamp is trying to find out what happened to his daughter, because she was murdered. I think she was dating the Peter Fonda character. And it's a good, fun movie. And talk about listening to him talk with this 60s British slang in the movie, because it's modern times when it came out, but he was still talking like an old Cockney.
Kind of makes sense, yeah.
It's an excellent little crime
Oh,
movie.
do they do that Cockney rhyming slang?
Okay, he stuffs like, he says, "Oh, you can't be too careful. Oh, the tea leaves about," and he says, "Tea leaves, thieves." Like that's a slang.
Cockney rhyming slang. Oh, I hate that.
I
know. My mother-in-law tried to explain it to me, and I'm like, Mom, I appreciate you trying, but I will never ever understand it. I don't know
that he rhymes in this, but he has some interesting expressions. I recommend it. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh no, yeah, absolutely. I absolutely have to. Cockney rhyming slang is a thing that I will never understand, but it's a cultural thing that is necessary to put into.
He just talks funny, and some of the Americans don't. Like when the police are interrogating him, and he starts talking like, "I have no idea what you just said." That's what they say back to him. Being John Malkovich. Remember this one?
This is a trippy ass movie. This is a weird friggin' movie, but weird in an entertaining and good way.
I enjoyed it. I think Matthew Broderick's in this too, right? Oh no, John Cusack. He's
John Cusack. Yeah. That one makes That's
and Cameron Diaz and Catherine Keener. It's just this is funny. I think that there's a scene in, like anyone can become John Malkovich.
Yes. And it doesn't even have to be John Malkovich, but it's kind of brilliant that it is.
It's just funny.
It would have worked with other people too, but somehow John Malkovich just
it's
works.
like he's a respectable enough actor. People know him, but he's not like super famous. You know what I mean? It's like people know him.
And a little quirky weird. That's part of it. That helps it. It's okay, I take back what I say. I don't think it could have been anyone else but John Malkovich.
I don't think it could have been either. I think he was the right actor for...
The more I think about it, it couldn't have been anything else. Yeah.
Brilliant movie. I recommend it. Dogma, another...
Wait a minute, before we get to that. No, it doesn't... It's just I wanted to... what Pootie's saying. A friend of mine gave me a really great piece of advice one day. What's the best possible thing that can come out of this if you say yes? And if the answer is you're going to keep getting offended, things that you don't want to do, that's the point. Yeah.
If you skip this one, we can just skip it now.
I didn't like
you're not
Dogma.
a Kevin Smith fan. Okay,
and actually, I didn't like it at the time that I saw it.
And you probably like it less now that you know.
And now I feel more justified in not liking it. Yeah.
Gotcha. Princess Mononoke. Now, I know you in the chat are going to argue with me and saying that movie came out in 97. Yes, but it had its American theatrical release in fall of 99. And that's when I saw it for one weekend only at an indie theater. This is the great Hayao Miyazaki anime film, Princess Mononoke.
Okay, this is
Billy
another
Bob
one of those
Thornton.
one I was dimly aware of, and
Yes.
I still haven't seen it, but I definitely do want to see this movie.
It's a great movie, and actually you can catch Ghibli movies in theaters now because Regal shows them like one a month now. So you
Yeah,
can always catch these if you want to.
yeah.
But Fate of the World Relies, I have that poster. Apparently it's worth a lot of money now. Of course, mine's not mint, but you know. But
Yeah.
did enjoy it though. All-star cast. This was before Pixar started doing the dubbing, but they had an anime dubber. Guy who was in charge of anime dubbing, at least be in charge of the dubbing. So it's not bad. It's
Right.
take some liberties with the script, but you
Yeah.
could also. This was an instance when this came out on DVD actually, where they were gonna release it with English only, and the fans were screaming, "Don't you dare!" And the thing was, it hadn't come out on DVD in Japan yet, and that's why they didn't want to put a Japanese track in there because they were afraid that people would import it. But I think they waited until the Japanese DVD, and then they released it on DVD with the Japanese soundtrack and with proper subtitles, and people were happy. So that was an instance of people complaining, and then Miramax, whoever was in charge, listened and said, "Okay, we'll do what you want."
Right.
Okay, which was good. The Straight Story, David Lynch.
Oh yes, we will definitely be watching this at some point. Yes, this is kind of a brilliant film. Not you can watch this, get all the way through it, hear that it's a David Lynch film, and go, wait, really? Yeah, this isn't.
I mean, it makes sense.
Oh yeah, it makes. I mean, there's a quirkiness to it, but it's but not David Lynch kind of quirky. You know, it's yeah.
Good movie, and G-rated. His only G-rated movie. I think he was trying to attempt to make a G-rated movie to see if he could in modern times, and he did. Sissy Spacek is in it, and Richard Farnsworth. Is that right? Yes.
Yeah.
Great movie. It's it'll be a rewatch at some point too. I personally love The Straight Story. It's great.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna say, you know, we should do it on Tuesday with deleted scenes. I'm not sure it's that kind of a David Lynch film, but gosh, this is a great movie, and based on a true story, right? Am I wrong in that?
No, I think it is. Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah.
All right.
This is one of those ones where I don't know how real, you know, how much this is based on a real story, if it's really accurate or whatnot, but it's a darn good, feel good type of story, you know. Yeah.
All right.
Good stuff.
So let's move on. Al Pacino, Russell Crowe, The Insider. Okay, so this is the Russell Crowe movie here. I have not seen this. I don't know how I missed this one, but I've not seen
Not only have I not seen this,
I don't know if I ever heard of it.
yeah, same here.
It was up for Best Picture, so I should have.
And for crying out loud, Al Pacino, how do I miss something like
So yeah,
this?
deleted scenes. He loved this movie apparently, so I'll have to give it a look. Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. Deleted Scenes knows movies better than I do. He's definitely him and Sir Torrin Clegane, you know, and there's other ones. Some of you other guys in here really know your movies,
Yeah.
but this one I'm gobsmacked that I don't know this one.
Yep.
This is one I should, and I don't. So I'll have to add this to my list to have to check out. Yeah.
Okay, deleted scenes. I'll take
In
the rest
fact,
of it.
based on what Deleted Scenes is saying, I may just make this one a Monday night movie just because I need to see it, and as long as I'm going to see it anyway, may as well, you know.
Yep. The World Is Not Enough.
Mm-hmm.
Third Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie. Good Bond movie. We have Cameron
Did you
Diaz,
say this was his first?
third.
Oh, it's her. Okay.
3.
Yeah.
Robert Carlyle as the villain. This has, in my opinion, one of the best Bond pre-sequences. You know, the stuff that happens before the credits. It starts out in like Switzerland. He has to get this money from a Swiss banker, and then like someone's after the banker, and the banker gets killed. And he takes the money back, whatever, blah blah. Gets the money back, and Emma's meeting one of her old college friends, and he's retrieving the money, and then Bond notices something on his glass, some kind of film, and realizes the mummy's laced with something, an explosive, and he's running through MI6 trying to get to the guy, and the assassin blows him up, who's this beautiful Spanish actress. And he actually steals one of Q's new things to go after the assassin. It's all him chasing her through the London waterways and everything, going after this assassin, and it's intense. And what's cool about it is it takes place in London. It doesn't take place and it's an incredible pre-sequence of the movie. Good movie, good Bond movie. Yeah,
Pootie, I know that you are you've gotten to be quite a regular, but please, you got to be here next week. We are doing a retrospective on Bond with a hard-hitting subject matter expert next week. It would be awesome to have you here next week, please. And whether whether you're on my channel or Netters or Boomers or whatever, just be here for the stream, because this is we're going to definitely be revisiting this. While Pierce Brosnan, I can't say he's my favorite Bond.
Sean Connery.
Sean Connery isn't my favorite either. But I really, he may be my second favorite, to be honest with you.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get pilloried for saying that
I know who your favorite is.
Hold on, I'll let you save. Well, no, yeah, maybe we should save it for next week. But unfortunately, Sean Connery is not even in my top two.
Oh my goodness.
We're gonna
have a conversation next week.
Well, I just said that Pierce Brosnan is possibly my second favorite.
I like Brosnan.
First is
I like Brosnan.
So that would put him probably. That would probably put Sean Connery as my third favorite.
Yeah. You see Denise Richards there? She plays a nuclear scientist in this movie.
Yeah, that's unfortunate casting. But, yeah.
Okay.
But honestly,
cranky old feller. Christopher Lee is the actor that Ian Fleming wanted to play James Bond, but we'll talk about that more next week.
Well, I'm glad he was actually in a Bond film, though, at least
as Bond's equal in many ways, yeah.
Because actually, I think he would have made a great Bond looking back. I mean, it's one of those things that, I didn't know that about Ian Fleming, but then hearing that, it's like, oh yeah, okay, I could see that. Especially knowing the history that Ian Fleming had with him and a lot of others, really. I mean, there's a lot of actors that I'm like, they should have been in Bond films and weren't. But anyway,
well.
We should save that talk for next week. But yeah,
we'll
World Is Not Enough was definitely. I don't remember it as clearly as some of you guys do, even though I say that I really, Pierce Brosnan. Part of the reason that I am so big on Pierce Brosnan as James Bond is partly because he was supposed to have been playing him sooner. We never would have gotten Timothy Dalton as Bond if they had been able to cast Pierce Brosnan when they intended to. He got held up by the Remington Steele contract, which is just effing unfair, because there should have been no conflict. He got screwed on that, and that pissed off a lot of fans, really.
All right.
Yeah.
Tim Burton's Sleepy Hollow.
I've got mixed feelings. I did like it, but I've got. I know. I've got mixed feelings about this. Was Tim Burton, right?
Yes.
That explains a lot. Yeah.
Johnny Depp.
So we got Johnny Depp, Christina Ricci, and what Helen Bonham Carter was in this too.
I don't know if it's Helen Bonham Carter. She might have been in this.
Didn't she play the witch?
No, I mean the nice looking lady. It was the actress that was Queen Elizabeth on Blackadder. I know she was in this. I think I could be wrong there.
Okay.
Sure. Big Gatsby, yeah.
But so a couple things that I really the overall ambiance, the cinematography. I think this is the best cinematography of any Tim Burton film. There is a scene in this that was just brilliant, where it's the fog coming in, and the fog kind of takes the form of like a hand that like reaches up and snuffs out the torches around the town. Just absolutely brilliant. That I loved that. I loved Christopher Walken as the Headless Horse. Well, we should say more as the Hessian who becomes the Headless Horseman. This is based on some great folklore, you know. A channel that I've mentioned a number of times, John Solo. That's Jon, John Solo. On YouTube here, he does a lot of folklore, the messed up origins of, right, and he gets into the folklore behind the Headless Horseman and so forth. Definitely worth checking out. And I feel that Tim Burton really does. He gets a lot of that folklore into this, as he does with a lot of his stories. This is probably my least favorite Johnny Depp roles. However, did not care for his version of
Ichabod Crane. Okay. All right.
You know,
that's fine.
Basically because maybe if you're doing Sleepy Hollow, you gotta be good with the folk. You got to be true to the folklore, but you also have to be true to the Irving. What was it? A short story or a poem? I forget.
Maybe a novella. I don't know if they had those back then. Yeah, it was a short novel.
It was a short story.
Okay.
It's and unfortunately, the Disney version is probably the closest to the Washington Irving story. So you kind of gotta have those. You want to see those elements in it, but it was very Burtonized, you know.
Yeah.
And the weird steampunky type elements to it was like, oh, really, you know.
I got you.
But anyway, but yeah, good movie. I'm not poo-pooing the movie, you know.
All right. Well, no, I mean, it definitely had the atmosphere.
It was a stylistic choice that I don't agree with, but at the same time, I can understand where people would also like it. So that's just me.
Miranda Richardson, that's who I'm thinking of. Miranda Richardson.
Okay, there we go.
Another attractive British actress. That's why you're probably confused her with Helen Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Helena Bonham Carter. Never mind. It's getting late. That's what I'm trying to write. Toy Story 2, Tom Hanks, Tim Allen. Did you like this?
I don't remember the details, but I suspect I did.
I enjoyed it. They introduced Barbie in this, remember?
Okay. This is where... Okay, yeah.
The toy Barbie, not the live-action one we had. Right. See, we already had Barbie.
Exactly.
That's and right. She was funny in this. Remember Miss Potato had said, I'm a married spud. What I remember liking about this was that the other toys got more screen time and had their own little adventure. Like, I think they all had to go help out, and I think it was Miss Potato Head, the pig, and they're all wandering about. I remember the scene really I should really rewatch it, but I remember enjoying it. It was different enough from the first one. This almost didn't have a theatrical release. This was originally planned as like a home video thing, and they kept pushing Disney, let us release it theatrically. I think it was Eisner. I think we talked about that on
once. Yeah, we did.
I grew up with Toy Story. We played a DVD over and over.
You know, Samuel, I sometimes I forget you must be a lot younger than you come across in your comments, because you're very insightful, and I guess I think you're older than you are.
To be fair, he could be in his 30s and still like this. still have grown up with this as a child. You know that, right? I'm just saying.
Okay. I'm a lot older than I think I am, Samuel Bryce.
Anyway, this was 25 years ago, so he could have been.
Thanks a lot there,
He was 10 years old
Aged
watching
Boomer.
this.
You're the one named Aged Boomer, and you're making me feel so damn old.
Sorry. Hey,
I'm sorry, what were you saying, Nutter?
So I vaguely remember my 30s.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh, jeez.
Oh, Samuel Proctor is 22. Okay, well, you know what? You're an adult. Enjoy your 20s. Wish you were living in a better decade.
I was in my 30s during the 90s, so...
And I was early 20s. In fact, I think I was 22 when this was out. So in theaters, that's when I saw it.
Yeah, so...
But Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, good sequel, good Pixar movie. This one used to look forward to Pixar.
Actually, you know what, Samuel Proctor, there's something about you that kind of reminds me of myself about you. Because... I was always very well versed on things that were kind of before my time. Yeah. And so if people didn't know me in person, face to face, a lot of them would say, yeah, I'd have thought you're an older soul. I'd have thought you were older than you are, you know, but, yeah.
Yeah, because
I have heard this, I think I heard this on like Midnight's Edge or something like that. This concept of Disney adults with no kids. Thanks, yeah.
That's called the Playboy Channel.
No. no.
It's like
these wine moms that don't have kids. You
Apparently
know,
there were swinger danks. Those are the disturbing ones. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a whole other ball of wax.
Don't
But
do
yeah,
that, Disney,
no, this whole idea of these Karens, you know, that no kids, but they're all like pixie dusters.
I'm
right?
going to talk about this a bit on Sunday. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Ride with the Devil, Tobey Maguire again. I think better performance in this movie.
Yeah.
Skeet
Ulrich.
Jewel was in this. Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah.
I forgot Jeffrey Wright was in this.
Yeah.
Actor. Yeah. This is a good little period Western piece. Taking place after the Civil War. These are sort of Confederate guys.
Gosh, this one looks like one I'd really, really like. I did not see it.
You should check it out.
Yeah,
You'll like it. Jewel's
I'm
good
sure
in
I
this,
will.
actually. Yeah, she's.
Brandon, the anime guy. Haven't seen in a long time, buddy. Good to see you, my friend. Thanks for stopping in.
We just covered an anime movie of '97, which was released in '99 over here. That's why I included it. But it was Princess Mononoke.
Yep, Princess Mononoke was 1999.
But of course, this was the big one.
Yeah.
Deuce Bigelow.
Male Gigolo, yeah. Was this a character that came out of Saturday Night Live too?
Maybe, I don't know. It feels like one that would have, yeah.
Yeah, it totally fits the comedy of that era, and obviously, you know, he
Roy Scheider, right?
Roy Schneider came out of Rob. Gosh, I'm getting tired too. Rob Schneider. He came out. Yeah, he came out of that's Saturday Night Live troupe too. I like Rob Schneider. Now Netter actually knew him from his appearances at the Improv. Yeah, Netter used to work at the Improv. She met him.
Apparently, he was nicer then than when he did 50 First Dates. Because people have reported that he was such a, pardon the language, such a dick on set to the kids and stuff. And just like wouldn't interact with them other than the scenes when he had to. And it's like...
I don't know, because everything I've heard about him was that of course, the only one that I know that knew him personally was you. But all the behind the scenes I've heard about him was that he's a heck of a nice guy.
So when I knew him back at the Improv, he was really nice.
Yeah.
He was funny. He was sweet. But apparently, when he did 50 First Dates, wasn't so funny or sweet.
I suppose. Who knows? Maybe he was having a rough time at that point or whatever. You know. But or you know, maybe that one person that had something to say about him. You know. Although, let's be honest. These days. You take negative things they say about people with a grain of salt when they're on a certain side of the aisle. You know what I'm saying? It could very well be people painting him with a negative light because they don't like his politics. You know? I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah. Anyway, I remember liking this movie, but it's kind of like those other like what's her name, the other Saturday Night Live comedy that we were just talking about. The what's her name, the superstar. What's her name? It was like
Silverstein?
6 movies ago. Gosh, damn, can't remember.
You trying to think of the girl or the movie?
The girl. Yeah, the movie with the girl from Sarah.
Yeah, is there her last name Silverstein or something?
I don't remember now. Well, anyway, funny but not super funny. Passable, enjoyable film. Yeah, Oh, okay, Boomer. Thanks. But yeah.
All right.
So Deuce Bigalow, I remember enjoying it. It's it's a fun popcorn comedy. Definitely worth checking out. Yeah.
Bicentennial Man.
I love this movie. It is not a perfect interpretation of the book that it's based on, but still really good. It's one of those uses of Robin Williams where they add comedy to the role that wasn't there originally because they want to make use of Robin Williams. I don't mind it, but it's not necessary to the story. But really a very good Asimov robot story. Very humorous, comical way that they introduced the 3 laws of robotics in this particular one with this big, flashy, commercial-y type thing.
Don't ever do that again.
Yeah, don't ever do that again, yeah. This is... if I remember correctly... Yeah, the Bicentennial Man, was that the name? See, there was a couple of stories written by Asimov that the story was written, I think, as the Bicentennial Man, and then it was rewritten as iRobot, or maybe it's the other way around. iRobot, the movie, has nothing to do with the story it's based on.
It was re-released as Bicentennial Man because I have all the Isaac Asimov stories.
Right. But you also have all the short stories. It would have been in one of the short stories too. But I think it was as iRobot in the short story version. Look, my point is that if you're thinking Will Smith iRobot, it's 2 different stories. iRobot is the same story as Bicentennial Man, and the story that you see in the movie iRobot is actually a different Isaac Asimov story called Caliban. So it's a very strange.
And I like that one too.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. I'm just saying they used the wrong title. But Caliban, I guess they thought as a movie wouldn't make sense, so they used iRobot, which was actually this story. And Bicentennial Man is the novelization, longer version of the short story iRobot. Okay, way more information than you guys probably needed to know, but Bicentennial Man is an excellent interpretation of Bicentennial Man, just with some added comedy. I think they added a generation in there.
Yeah.
Little Miss is the granddaughter in this movie, but in the original novel, she was just the daughter.
I see.
Which is not a big deal. It doesn't matter that much. But I think they also did that because they were... they wanted to have modern concepts of what human lifespan was. But part of the point of Bicentennial Man is that human lifespans are extended partly because of the technology related to the robots. And that does kind of come up a little bit in this movie, because he points out that this robot becomes a scientist, basically, and he starts developing robotics, right? Partly for himself, but partly because he wants to help humans to extend their life. So the same artificial limbs that humans are using are also the robotic parts he's using to advance himself. And so, and I'm kind of giving away the whole story here, but, you know, I don't think it ruins anything. It's still, you still want to see the story. He realizes that all of the parts that he has replaced in himself are all the parts that humans are using as prosthetics, right? So he's like, how am I not as human as anyone using these robotic parts? You know, you know, yeah, I don't want.
But it was an interesting moral thing at the end. Yeah.
It's a brilliant, and so yeah, the ending of the story explains what the Bicentennial Man is. He basically,
and then he gets granted citizenship.
He literally becomes, you know, he wants to be considered human.
Yes.
You know, he's a robot, but he's like, I want to be considered human. And they're like, but you're better than human. You're a robot. He goes, but this is what I want to be. Right. And I want to be known as a human. And so literally on his 200th birthday, on his 100th birthday, he's a centennial robot. On his 200th birthday, he's granted human status, so he becomes the Bicentennial Man. You know.
Okay.
Brilliant story. I cry at the end of this movie.
It's a good one. I know you've done it on your channel before too, right?
Yeah, we did. I think Netter did a watch party.
So, no,
you cry at the end because him and his robot wife both died at the same time, holding hands.
Yes, I get messed up by this one as well as The Notebook. Both movies just...
Gotcha. Great performance of Robin Williams, though.
Oh, yeah, this is one of those ones where they're still drawing on his comedy, but you realize what a brilliant, dramatic actor he is. Same thing with, like, Patch Adams. That was another one where, you know, a lot of humor, but you also have this incredible dramatic role. You know, I'm really glad that Robin Williams had the opportunity to go from the goofy, silly stand-up comedian, comic, you know, Mork and Mindy type thing, to a lot of these much more dramatic roles. He was absolutely just brilliant. Yeah, Dead Poets Society. Another one that really messes me up is What Dreams May Come. Great movie, but I've never been able to watch it a second time. Mm-hmm. I was just ugly crying at the end of that movie. The Green Mile.
When I get to W, I'll be playing it again.
I know.
Green Mile.
The Green Mile.
Michael Clark Duncan and Tom Hanks, yes.
Another brilliant one. And this is one of those ones that most people don't realize, based on a Stephen King series.
A serial novella.
Series of novels, or novellas, exactly. Yeah, that's a great, and what then, of course, after putting out all these short novellas, that, you know, they put them together in one omnibus. What's his name? John Saul is another author that has done that very, very well. Done these short novellas that you know, you need all of them and then read them all together as if they were one larger omnibus. But The Green Mile is a brilliant movie. I think this is one where the movie exceeds the books.
Yeah.
And that's a very rare thing. I don't say that about many.
remember at the time thinking this was going to be like a spiritual successor of The Shawshank Redemption, but it's different enough. It's a very different kind of movie about prison. Yeah.
Yes, it is. But you're
horrifying,
right. If you liked one, you'd probably like the other, but they are also very different films.
It has that horrifying electric chair scene. I remember that, where the guy didn't.
Which is pretty much. I mean, obviously, it's not based on a true story by any means, but the history behind the use of electricity for execution, that's pretty spot on. There were situations that were exactly like.
You want to learn more about the history? Watch the movie The Current War.
Yes, you're absolutely right.
And that's how Edison was selling it. Oh, it's a more humane way of killing someone. Remember that?
If they had gotten it right and understood electricity, it might have been, but they didn't. Yeah. This again, Stephen King. So you should not be too surprised that there are some supernatural elements to it, but it is not the most important part. It's not about that. It just happens to be an element that lends something to the story.
Exactly. Tom Hanks, though. Yeah. Let's move on. We're almost
Tom Hanks in this one is in a lot of ways like the he's almost the character insert. He's
right. Like the narrator.
Is he? Yeah, he's more like the narrator.
Duncan, I think, is the real character.
Yeah, he's really Michael Claude Duncan's character. Really, Coffee, right? Is his name? Yeah. He really is the main character. So it's kind of odd that Tom Hanks is top billing and, in quotes, the star of the movie. He really should be the secondary character, but I don't know. It doesn't matter. Yeah.
Man on the Moon. I've not seen this, but I heard it was excellent. This is an excellent portrayal of Andy Kaufman by Jim Carrey.
It really was. And it was a great movie. I saw it in the theaters. I didn't really have any intention of seeing this movie. Mm-hmm. But a buddy of ours wanted to... I saw it on my birthday, okay? And a buddy of mine from church said he wanted to take me out to a movie for my birthday. Mm-hmm. I said, okay, great. And of all the movies that were playing that particular week, this was the only one that was playing at the time that we were going that I had even a mild interest in seeing. But what I didn't know at the time we went to see this movie was the reason he wanted to take me to see this movie was because Netter and he and some other people from the church were planning a surprise birthday party for me, so they needed to get me out of the house. And the downside here is that this is a longer than 2-hour movie. So I was out much longer than intended. So by the time I got back, some of the people that were like, I couldn't stay, I had to leave. So there weren't as many people at my surprise party as should have been. But I thought it was a great, it's the thought that counts. I felt so great about it. I felt so honored that, it's fine that it didn't work. I
still like the one where I set up a surprise birthday party for him at a friend's house. And I'm sorry, but our lawyer's a dumbass. I tell him, don't park anywhere near the place because I don't want Troy to recognize anybody's car. What's he do? He parks right in their freaking driveway.
But it was dark. It was night. I don't think I would have recognized his car if I'd seen it.
I recognized the license plate.
I didn't.
And I was like, yeah, they invited us over to dinner.
Oh, that's right. He had custom plates. I guess if I had seen the plates, I would have, but I didn't see it. So
it's like, he thought we were just having dinner with a couple friends. And so, we go in. The house is kind of dim. And they're like, oh, yeah, let's, get your coats or anything. They hang up for coats. And then they flick on one of the lights, and everyone's like, surprise!
I was surprised. I didn't know, yeah. But yeah, this was I'm sorry, it's a side story sharing my personal experience with this movie. But yeah, so, and you saw it too, right?
I've not seen it. I need to watch this.
Oh, okay. So here's the other thing too. This is, again, it's about Andy Kaufman, a comedian from my childhood.
On Taxi. For Taxi.
Most people people in my age range knew him from the show Taxi, but he was a stand-up comedian before that. But calling him a comedian is maybe not the best description. He was a performance artist who was funny, and he did appear in stand-up routines with other comedians, but he wasn't your typical comedian. He was a performance artist. So if you thought of him as just a comedian, he was a strange bird. But if you realized he was a performance artist, okay, then maybe you start to understand him a little bit more. I could do almost a whole show about Andy Kaufman. He was a strange bird, and you never knew when he was being serious and when it was all a shtick. If you get what I'm saying. But this movie does a great job of kind of explaining it and getting it across. And the fact that it's played by Jim Carrey, who honestly, as he's playing this role, looks just like him. Mm-hmm. He's not someone I would have looked at and said, hey, he looks like Andy Kaufman. But playing this role with his hair made up, with the outfit on, and they got to do some things with his eyebrows and stuff, he looks spot on, and he acts the role perfectly. I get the impression that he was a big fan and very influenced by Andy Kaufman, so I think he had no problem getting into this role. Plus, given what Jim Carrey does in his performances, lends itself very well to kind of what Andy Kaufman did too.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I could go on for 2 hours just talking about Andy Kaufman and the fact that there's this movie, but just check out the movie.
Might be a good
cover
rewatch
most
someday.
everything. Yeah, maybe I will. It is the kind of thing that it's kind of worth.
Maybe you can talk about Andy Kaufman throughout because he does his whole life, right? Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. One more movie.
One more. Okay.
And then we're done.
Okay.
I know Magnolia technically came out in 99, but since it didn't get released it didn't get released to the public, really had a limited release until
Take
January.
care, cranky old feller. You can always catch the VOD. Oh, you saved this one for last. Oh, Galaxy Quest. Oh, God, this is a genius film. This was just brilliant. This is something you just could not replicate. It was... Okay, so this is it's a comedy that kind of sort of lampoons the real world. No, it absolutely straight up does. Definitely lampoons
TNG or original, both.
Yeah, it lampoons Star Trek and Star Trek fans. But it is absolutely brilliant in a lot of ways. Probably a better Star Trek film than some of the Star Trek we're getting.
My dad said that at the time. He said that was a better Star Trek movie than these TNG movies we've been getting. That's what he said.
Yeah, he's actually kind of not wrong.
He really loved this movie. Yeah.
So
Tony Shalhoub was in this. I forgot.
Tony Shalhoub plays the stoner engineer.
Yeah. And Tim Allen.
Tim Allen, of course, plays the captain. Sigourney Weaver plays the stereotypical female who is just there to look good and doesn't have much to do. They kind of make jokes about that within the film itself. Alan Rickman playing like your Spock type analog.
By Grabthar's hammer, is that what it went, or something?
By Grabthar's hammer, I shall avenge thee. Yeah. So he's got these alien catchphrases or whatever that like you would if you were talking to Michael Dorn, who played Worf, or Spock, Nimoy, who played Spock and whatnot. But he plays that Nimoy type. I'm sick and tired. I'm more than just this role that I played. All people care about is that. And this is just absolutely brilliant. Very tongue-in-cheek, corner of your poking at some very real world things about the actors that played in Star Trek, tropes about fans and stuff like that are pretty true. If you're a real Star Trek fan, you're like, yeah,
But
that's
the
pretty
movie
spot on.
has heart.
It really does, it's never mean spirited. So in the fact that it's poking at nerdy fans, it's never mean spirited about it. That's why I say, as a fan, I watch it and I go, yeah, I guess that's pretty kind of true. I gotta own that. But at the same time, it has this way of taking the fan goofiness and making the fans kind of heroes.
Yes.
It's like, given the opportunity, we really believe that Star Trek fans would rise to an occasion to be the heroic characters that they emulate in this show. If they just had that technology, or if they just had the opportunity to fight the aliens or whatever, they would put
and that's what they're given, because this alien. He doesn't
turns out that
alien, right?
the whole I guess
he thinks they're just like fans making a fan movie, and it's like, wow, this set looks really good. And
what it turns out is that he finds out that aliens, real aliens out there in outer space that have their own civilization, have been watching our TV shows as they beam out into space over the years, and they think that it's all real because their culture has no concept of
television.
Of pretend. They don't understand pretend. They don't even understand the concept of lying. So the idea of someone putting on a performance that is fictional doesn't make any sense to them.
And he's not even sure about helping them until he finds out this other alien group that's after them. They're wanting to wipe out their entire species, and they've already killed a lot of them. And he's like, we have to actually help them. I thought that was interesting.
And it's true.
I'm not really this captain character. I have to basically be this
exactly. He's like, these people have made decisions about their culture based on this show that we did. We have a certain obligation to them, and the actors from the show are like, some agree and some don't. They're like, no, we don't. We don't know. We don't. And it's like, and they end up eventually doing the right thing.
They all come through, yes.
Yeah, and I mean, right down to Alan Rickman's character, who has hated this role that he's been playing, and there's this one character who, this alien character who has just emulated him, and he says, kind of like what I do with the Klingon stuff, right? I all the lore, and I know all the mysticism and the way of the warrior and so forth, and I've lived by that code. And I mean, it really, I'm getting a little choked up thinking about it, because he's got, I'm giving away the ending, but it's worth it. He's dying at the end, and he's literally dying in Alan Rickman's hands, and against everything in him, for this guy, he says, I got, and he says, by Grabthar's hammer, I will avenge you. And it's the last thing that this alien hears before he dies, and he dies happy because he believes, his hero is going to avenge him. And that means that after he lays the dead body down, he's gonna avenge him the best of his ability. And he just goes and he charges in like he's got this alien super strength, and he just starts beating the crap out of the bad guy. To the point that I think it was Tim Allen's like, okay, I think you got him. You're done now. And he's like all punch drunk. Okay. It's so funny, but you're right. It's got so much heart. And I have yet to meet a Star Trek fan that didn't love Galaxy Quest and say, it's not really Star Trek, but it's basically Star Trek, and it's awesome. It's a movie that both lampoons, but underneath it really loves Star Trek. That's what it is. The only thing
I don't even know if it lampoons. It's
no, yeah. I mean, it's only to avoid like trademark and copyright problems. I think otherwise it's spot on. The only problem that I have with Galaxy Quest is I feel kind of like Star Trek did, never lived up to its full potential as far as marketing goes. They could have put out costumes and toys and all kinds of stuff, and they would have made it.
I think it could be as big as it could have been, yeah.
But when they found out, that's fine. They could have done it after the fact. They could have done it, years later. You know, we're going to go ahead and license and market this stuff, and they still would have sold. And there should have been a damn sequel. This is a movie that would have been worth doing a sequel to.
Well, at least we got a great standalone.
Yeah,
love letter.
It's absolutely worth it. You know, it's definitely check it out.
All right.
I actually have to. I especially Sigourney Weaver's character. I can't help but think that she's working through a little bit of her. I'm more than just Ripley kind of thing.
I think so. And Tim Allen, great Shatner stand-in, because he's not exactly like Shatner, but if anyone else could play Shatner, it's Tim Allen.
He definitely plays up the behind the scenes relationships that Shatner did not get along well with some of his co-stars, and they play that up pretty well.
I think it works, and it's a great 4 stars. I think that's Roger Ebert that said that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to remove this from the studio.
Okay,
we're over. Plus, my Mac is getting very hot right now.
So yeah. Well, you live in Florida. That's going to happen.
Maybe it's a solar flare. I don't know.
Great. No, I enjoyed this this kind of reminiscing about 99. Yeah, I didn't know a lot of those movies, but the ones I did, I fondly.
And we have movies we need to now watch too, so that's good.
Now we're gonna have to do some more rewatches.
Like Deep Blue, I'm gonna look for that one. Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Some of these movies I will be doing rewatches of on Monday night at the movies. So please, make sure you're subscribed. Tune in on Mondays for Monday night at the movies. This tomorrow, well, later tonight, I guess. This week is Netter's Network. Tomorrow night, what are we watching again? It's not a vampire movie. I thought that might jog your memory.
I keep wanting to say Dead Heat, but it's not Dead Heat.
No, that's what we watched
what we
2
just
weeks
watched.
ago.
I don't know. Tell me.
The Depart. Is it The Departed?
The Departed.
Yes, The
The
Departed.
deleted scenes may be joining you, right? I think.
Yes, he's supposed to be. Yes, as long as he still can, he's going to be joining us because he's going to end up being our subject matter expert. Because guess what?
You've seen it.
None of us have seen it, but deleted scenes. Yes, he came in Departed. Big Al hasn't seen it. I haven't seen it. Neither has Netter. Okay. Which of course begs the question: well, why do you have a DVD of it? I have a lot of DVDs that I want to see and I haven't seen yet.
And people have given us ones and things like that. Oh, and Deleted Scenes will be joining us as a subject matter expert on the movie.
Yes, absolutely. So that's tomorrow night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netter's Network. So some of you guys are over there on Netter's Network. But if you're not, just make sure all the links are below. Netter's there, Age of Boomers. There are a lot of you all I have listed down below as members of the crew. So make sure you're subscribed to her for that. Tomorrow night, I'm not doing anything else tomorrow because I'm going to be out most of the day. We got to do all of our running around tomorrow. But someday, at some point, I will start doing some Saturday morning or afternoon type watches, just impromptu. I won't announce them in advance. I'll just decide I could do it, and I'll do it.
I don't know why, but I was thinking Troy's going to do Sing Along with Mitch.
Sing Along with Mitch, yes, exactly.
For you youngins, it was an old TV program. Mitch Miller.
Okay, and he confirmed he's still in. Okay, and even I have DVDs I haven't watched. I'm surprised there's any movies in the world you haven't seen, but there you go. I kid, I know, but you do. You have probably seen a lot more movies than I have. Sunday, make sure you're subscribed to Deleted Scenes because he's doing Western Cinema Presents with Jedi Bill. Of course, Unscripted.
Deleted Scenes, the official pre-show of Geeky Geezers.
Yep. So 7 o'clock, you're on 7 o'clock Central, 8 Eastern. You're on Deleted Scenes for Unscripted. Yes. Then, as soon as that's done, you come on over to Age of Boomers channel for Geeky Geezers, where we will be ranting about Kotaku. And we may not have to talk about anything else. We should just talk about that.
Well, I don't want to spend the whole 2
No, of course not. We have a lot of
We're going to talk about it because we have to. I've been avoiding talking about this reporter, if you want to call her that, for a while. But
no, she's a see you next Tuesday is what she is.
The gloves have now come off. And, but it's more like
she's human trash. She really is. And she's probably got some serious, mental issues.
Oh, I would say so. We'll talk about her on Sunday. But then at midnight, 5 past midnight, there'll be the other side of midnight.
The other side of midnight. I tell you guys, it's a great way to. It's Deleted Scenes. It's a chat show, but it's much more low key, and it's a great way to wind out the weekend. You know what I mean? The Western Cinema is going to be The Horse Whisperer. There you go.
Right.
Monday night, we're going back to the 9 o'clock Central, 10 Eastern time slot for Monday Night at the Movies. One film, but it's going to be a slightly longer one. It's the movie Troy with, everyone's in it. Brad Pitt and Orlando Bloom, and a whole bunch of people are in that movie. It looks really good. I haven't seen it before.
Okay.
But I will be definitely looking for it. That was a fan request. Back when I was starting Monday Night at the Movies, I put up a poll, and a lot of people were saying Troy. Because
makes sense because your name is
Troy. Yeah. I'm like, well, yeah. And the other thing is that I haven't seen the movie, so I really need to see it. So, yeah, 9 o'clock Central, 10 Eastern on Monday, right back here.
Tuesday,
Deleted Scenes, Sparkwood and 21. We're into our last handful of Twin Peaks episodes for season 2.
Yes.
And then we still got nothing on Wednesday, right?
Nothing on Wednesday this week.
I have seen occasional sightings of Birdman.
Yeah, I need to get back with him. I mean, obviously I've been busy myself. I know he's busy. He has a new job thing, but we should do a movie night again sometime.
There you go. Thursday, we will be continuing the Twin Peaks related thing from Tuesday, because over on Netter's Network, Thursday Things, your guest is Netter. Well, I'll just tell you, it's obnoxious and anonymous. He is another subject matter expert in Twin Peaks. Excellent. He runs a channel that's mostly David Lynch Twin Peaks content. He has done an incredible fan film that's Twin Peaks, a Twin Peaks fan film that we're not letting Deleted Scenes watch until after we've gotten through season 3.
When he's on my show on Thursday, we'll be talking about his movie and about his fundraiser.
Yep, he's doing a Kickstart or crowdfund, whatever you want to call it, for another fan film. It will actually be a sequel to the Twin Peaks: The Return, because we don't honestly believe that we're going to see anything that comes after it.
Yeah,
we might. And he's even said, if we get a season 4, that's fine. It just overwrites mine. No harm, no foul. He says, but I don't think that's going to happen. So
gotcha.
I agree. So that's Thursday on Netter's Network, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, which brings us back around to next Friday. As I alluded earlier in the stream, next week is a very special James Bond 007 retrospective. Aged Boomer has been wanting to do this for some time.
Yes.
And our special guest will be subject matter expert Michael French of Retro Blasting, who Yeah, he's got a different favorite James Bond than I do, but that's okay. We can still be friends.
We'll do it.
And I can tell you in advance what my drink will be that night. I will be having 2 martinis. I will be having a martini taste challenge for myself to see which one I like the best. I am going to make a martini the way I like a dry martini, and I will make one as close as I can to the Vesper martini as described in Casino Royale.
There we go. And you may find you like it better or worse.
We'll see. We will absolutely see.
All right, so that'll be next Friday.
I've even purchased specifically the Quina Lillet and the what was the gin? What was the gin that he requests? Gordon's.
Yeah.
Gordon's gin.
There we go.
So there we go.
That's it.
Yep. That's it. That's the weekend review.
Okay.
Any last thoughts? Any last words? Anything, Boomer? Before we
Nothing.
end?
This was fine. Watch out for that solar wind, and I got to shut this Mac down soon because it's getting hot for some reason. I'll probably have to take it into the Mac shop at some point. I don't know.
Fair enough.
It gets hot more lately.
Netter,
Oh yeah, Netter, if you want to do it.
Netter, you want to take us out?
Well,
Yes.
first, please make sure that you are subbed or following every member of the panel as well as every member of the chat.
Right.
And if you think you're following, or actually, I don't think Rumble is horde like YouTube, but if you think you're subbed on YouTube, please go back and double check that you're still subbed because YouTube. And with that said, we can talk amongst ourselves, and that's all well, good, and fun. But it is so much more fun when you guys are joining us in the chat and you're dropping your comments, questions, trivia, being goofy, whatever it may be. And it doesn't feel like we're separated by miles or continents in some cases. It feels like we're all hanging out in the same room, enjoying each other's company and having a great time. And you guys, you know you're not just our friends. You are our family. We love you guys and we appreciate you so very much. You can be anywhere right now, and you're here. That is so encouraging. So thank you for being here. Thank you for not just encouraging us, but encouraging one another. I love seeing you guys here on all of our streams every week. I said, this is family.
Yep.
I love seeing you guys. But until the next time we meet, which will be tomorrow night on my channel, good night and God bless.
Yep. Thanks, everyone. I appreciate not only that you come and hang out with me every Friday, but you stay all this. It's late. I guess that's why I call it last call, right? So there you go, guys. Thanks so much. Have a great one, and we'll see you on the next one.
Good night, ladies.
Good night, sir.
Hit it, sweetheart.